Bigfoot and 11 of the country's meanest machines are in the middle of a dogfight in Louisville, and 3 have already bit the dust. The first run of this single elimination battle pitted Bigfoot against Stomper. Bigfoot laid Stomper to rest and advanced to round 2. The next skirmish of the night featured Crimson Giant and Modern Day Outlaw.
What a hole shot! Comes out left lane. We got a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Starvin' Marvin Smith puts it on the other end.
Crimson Giant sent Modern Day Outlaw packing and advanced to fight another round.
Texas Toy, Larry Cook out of Corpus Christi, Texas, comes in the building.
Next up was the Texas Toy on the line against No Problem.
Larry Cook, Corpus Christi, Texas, he is scheduled to go against No Problem. Here he comes. No Problem Ford, ladies and gentlemen, coming in the building to battle.
Do you think that this short wheelbase may be to an advantage or disadvantage on the No Problem truck versus the Texas Toy?
I think at this particular track, the advantage will have to be to the long wheelbase by nature of they got a real quick mogul to go over first, and then just the fact they're working at left side of the track is an advantage to the longer wheelbase vehicle. He will be able to leg it, really get out and get a run at it. But if you want to see some fancy footwork, keep an eye on the flagman.
The Texas Toy had no problem beating No Problem. No Problem had a rough road, especially when he got to the car.
We're almost ready for the next run. Overtime over the obstacle course against the Crimson Crusher. Crusher driver Dale Hancock is gunning for a victory tonight, and he'll pull out all the stops.
Where's our Chevrolet fans once again? Chevy!
Overtime comes in with the GMC 482 cubic inch. Keep an eye on this Ford. He built it for one reason. That's to be the #1 Ford in the country. He had to go against Bigfoot in a qualifying round. He wants to get to him in the finals.
Overtime in Crimson Crusher. They're ready and waiting for the flagman signal. The Chevy Mad Dog is up next, running against Clydesdale. Mad Dog is fast becoming a real crowd pleaser on the Redman TNT circuit. The big Chevy is custom made for this type of tortured track and a favorite to win it all tonight.
24 shock absorbers under Clydesdale. Unbelievable what these guys will do for a suspension. Some are running a 66-inch high tire, some running a 73. And I'll tell you, John Green, this could go down to a Bigfoot versus Green finals tonight. Let's see if it holds true. Back to you, Army.
The track officials are lining up Mad Dog and Clydesdale. The winner will face Crimson Crusher in the next heat. John Green would like nothing better than a chance to get at the Crusher. Clydesdale is the only thing standing in his way. The Gold has mechanical problems, so Casper gets a bye and a free ride. And we'll be back with round 2.
Chevrolet that goes by the name of the Crimson Giant, Starvin' Marvin Smith. He'll be in the red Chevrolet. What can we say about the blue Ford? It's called Bigfoot, the #1 monster truck in the country. Side by side, the winner stays out, the loser goes on the trailer.
It's the second round of heats in the single elimination monster truck showdown in Louisville, Kentucky. 6 of the toughest monster machines on the Redman TNT circuit have survived to fight it out for the championship title. First up are the Bigfoot Ford and the Crimson Giant Chevy.
I know my Chevrolet people, you've got to be kind of pumped up now. You just won that two-wheel drive category. How would you like to see a major upset and Chevrolet win this round and put Bigfoot on the trailer? It can happen. We'll be back. Hoosier advances with a Bigfoot Ford.
Bigfoot wins again. The next heat is between the Texas Toy and Casper. Texas Toy rolled over no problem with no problem. But Casper comes to the starting line untested. Casper got a bye in the first run. All Dale Harris had to do was make it over the track to qualify for this round. As they line up, Texas Toy has to be considered a heavy favorite to win this one.
Out of Mississippi, they call him Casper, named after Casper the Friendly Ghost, Mr. Dale Harris. So in this round of semis, it'll be the Toyota out of Mississippi going against the Texas Ford side by side. Again, the winner stays alive. The loser goes on the trailer on the Redman All-American Pulling Series. Part of the TNT Motorsports sanctioned event. To the Texas Toy, lining up left side, long wheelbase. He got a straight shot out the door. The camera crew backs away. Casper go after him. Kind of like pro stocker, going up on the RPM. Casper comes out, takes a shot. An upset, ladies and gentlemen. The Texas Toy goes down. Casper advances.
And Casper upsets Texas Toy in a tough fight right down to the finish line. Casper advances to meet none other than Bigfoot in the next round of action.
Everybody gets into it. Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, as Casper put one of the big ones down. The Texas Toy, having lane choice, didn't work for him. The Toyota will advance.
Dale Harris, they love him here tonight. And this is the way the drivers get down. They just walk down the tire. Let's get him on camera here for ESPN. Dale Harris, congratulations. You really want to go after Bigfoot tonight, don't you?
I got all both barrels loaded, and I'm coming for it.
All right, you really nailed it off the line. You didn't waste any time. Awful lot of excess bouncing out there. Does that concern you?
Not a whole lot if the truck can take it, because the good Lord's with me. I got his grace, and we're going to go for it tonight.
All right, let's hope he's with you later on. Dale Harris and Casper. He's going to be going against some awfully good trucks in this class.
Both of them trying to go after Bigfoot to meet him in the final, but they got to get past each other to do it. We're coming back to you one more time. How about it, Ford people? You still believe in yourself, don't you? How about my Chevrolet people and the Mad Dog of John Breen? Breen backs up. Both drivers, they've been here before. The pressure's on them. This will be the last qualifying run in this semi-final round. Side by side. One will advance. One will go in the trailer. Who will it be? The Crimson Crusher Ford or the Mad Dog? Heartbeat of America, Chevrolet of John Breen. They're lined up. They're ready to go. They want to play with the end of the track. They start to fudge a little bit, start to roll. Breen looks up. It's showtime, ladies and gentlemen. The Redman All-American Pulling Series. Driver goes over. We need to hit the fuel shut-off. We need to kill the engine immediately. We need only the track personnel there. Only track people, no cigarettes in the area, please. Be advised, we need no cigarettes in the area. We need the track crew to take the case front end loader to get it squared away. Ladies and gentlemen, the track crew is prepared for events such as this. Dale Hancock, we understand, is okay. We can see him moving around inside the vehicle. This is motorsports, ladies and gentlemen. It looked like the roll cage. He comes out. You know, a lot of people, when they come to these things, think they're going to see kind of a show. You're seeing motorsports. You're seeing American racing. Dave Graham working his way over to get an interview with Dale Hancock. but a very well-constructed vehicle, about 23,000 pounds of weight coming down on Dale. He comes out of it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here he is. You saw it on tape out there as the truck did a barrel roll. Dale Hancock, first off, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I guess the roll bar helped out some, you know. I got a cage laying at home that I just bought that I went and picked up yesterday at the truck line. That's probably what brought me bad luck.
All right, now what happened down there at the end? You really went at it tonight, awfully good run, but you came over and all of a sudden it happened so quick.
Well, I knew I was in trouble. I was on the brakes, and it was staying up on its nose. And I was scared. I knew I needed to get back on the gas, but I was scared the crowd was right there, and I couldn't see them. So the only thing I could do was just keep stopping, because I was afraid if I gassed it, I'd run over them.
It all sort of happened, it looked like in slow motion.
Yeah, it felt like slow motion.
All right, well, I tell you, we're just glad and the good Lord willing that you're here right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy's a lucky guy. Let's give him another round of applause here. Louisville, Kentucky, Dale Hancock, the Crimson Crusher. Congratulations, and thank goodness you're here right now to talk about it.
Well, what happened? Who won?
All right, Dave Graham, we're back to the big boys. Monster truck, 4 of them remaining. Here we go, Casper and Bigfoot. Mississippi going up against the Missouri-based #1 monster truck, the Bigfoot of Bob Chandler, being driven this evening by Rick Hoosier.
This is the first run of the semifinals. Bigfoot against the upsetter Casper. You heard Dale Harris say he was out to get Bigfoot tonight. He talks a good game, but now he's got to show this crowd that his machine is up to the challenge. Let's watch him run. Bigfoot puts Casper in his place and advances to the final. The next heat will determine who his opponent will be.
Louisville, Kentucky, the home of the TNT Monster Truck Nationals.
Mad Dog is out on the line against Texas Toy. Texas Toy was upset by Casper in the last round, but had the fastest time of any of the losers. That has won him the right to go for it one more time. Mad Dog is considered a strong favorite in this heat.
How many of you think that Texas Toy is going to win this elimination? How many of you think Mad Dog is going to win? How many of you don't care? You just want a party? Hello, Grandpa. I tell you, he's sitting right here in the front row. Yeah, I must be in the front row.
The track officials are getting them in starting position. Mad Dog was on the line some time before Texas Toy was able to get out to the starting area. John Breen shut down his machine in the meantime to keep from overheating. Now he's having some trouble getting underway.
Head-to-head, the winner comes back to go on the finals. John Breen had a little bit of problems getting the Chevrolet started. We don't know. Crew members climbing up on the vehicle.
While the crew works on Mad Dog, we'll take a commercial break.
We understand it will be a bye-run. Mad Dog will not start, ladies and gentlemen. John Breen is out.
They could not restart Mad Dog, and Texas Toy will get the bye and make an uncontested run to qualify in an all-Ford final against the #1 monster truck in the country, Bigfoot. Bigfoot with Rich Hoosier at the wheel, out on the track for the final run against the Texas Toy.
Great crowd here tonight at Freedom Hall. Well, you know what they say, Army. F-O-R-D, a 4-letter word. F-O-R-D stands for First on Race Day.
You know, Dave Graham, when we look at the starting line, it looks like a little Hill Street Blues out there, right? You got 2 blue Fords. How about a little Blues Brother Fords out there tonight? No matter how you look at it, Ford's going to take a win in the first round of the Monster Truck Nationals.
And may the best truck win tonight in Freedom Hall at the Redman TNT All-American Monster Truck Nationals and Truck and Tractor Pull.
Well, Jeff Jarrett, Big Bubba, they're out at the T-shirt stand. You can get an autograph on the way out, but right now, this is it. Only one. Who's it going to be? Out of the Lone Star State of Texas, on the Bigfoot Ford. Side by side, they're off. Bigfoot takes a shot.
Bigfoot charges to another win, taking on all comers and proving once again it's the king of the monster trucks. Today there are over 150 monster trucks competing all across the country. But this is the original 4x4x4 super truck. As we join the monster truck event in progress, Mad Dog, Stomper, and Clydesdale have all been eliminated due to mechanical problems. Only No Problem has survived so far. It's been a wild weekend of monster truck mania. Last night's event climaxed with Crimson Crusher taking a dramatic final bow.
Here's the truck that last night upset, ladies and gentlemen. It rolled completely over. It's going to be a Ford going against the GMC. Texas Toy has looked strong all night, Army. He's been very smooth. The diesel engine has gotten off the line quickly. He's never been behind, I don't believe, tonight. But smoothness has counted so much. He hasn't bounced as much as some of the other trucks.
Ladies and gentlemen, trying to eliminate the best monster truck in the country.
Texas Toy advances to the semifinals.
You got to remember, this is Cardinal country. This is Louisville, Kentucky. Ford, Ford, Ford. They call it Bigfoot, ladies and gentlemen. Rick Hoosier coming into the building. Out of Bob Chandler's operation, and the state of Missouri comes around. He's number one.
The competition has been brutal this weekend, and several trucks have been pushed to the breaking point.
You pull both triggers. You go after them as hard as you can. Driver waiting patiently with a Casper vehicle, again, out of Mississippi. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Everybody wants to be Bigfoot. Can Casper do it? The RPMs go up. Side by side, we're watching them. It's going to be a war in Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. What a shot! Both trucks land on a super shot. The Casper vehicle actually tearing the windshield out. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get any better than this. Rick Hoosier stays alive to go into the finals with the awesome Bigfoot monster truck out of the Bob Chandler.
This will be the first heat of the semifinals. Texas Toy facing off against No Problem.
No Problem out of Tennessee against a Texas Toy.
No Problem has had trouble with its rear wheel steering mechanism.
Well, No Problem has a chance to back into something here. He will go after him. Up on the RPM. Look at a hole shot. Comes off the No Problem side. Wow!
Texas Toy comes from behind to win it.
Bottom Cowboy out of Corpus Christi, Texas.
Texas Toy advances to the finals as No Problem limps off the track.
Army, how many people would love to see Bigfoot get beat? This guy's going after him right now. Very seldom you have a chance to go against Bigfoot. This young man has had 2 chances tonight to put him away, and I'll guarantee you, just like Dave Grimm said, he will pull both triggers when they leave that starting line.
We know that Casper has been erratic on the driving tonight. He has not been a good driver. But remember, when you're going against America's favorite monster truck and the leader, you go nuts out there. You do whatever it takes to win.
Casper will probably try a hole shot. Hoosier knows this. It's going to be a Donnybrook. Oh, what a run.
Bigfoot wins over Casper and advances to the championship heat. Bigfoot and Texas Toy met in the finals last night, and the feud between these two monster Fords is becoming a real grudge match. Stay tuned.
The Texas Toy going after Bigfoot.
It's going to be that Detroit diesel going against that big gasoline 560 cubic inch Ford engine. Ford against Ford. It's going to go right down to the wire. It's going to be Bigfoot trying to get off the line quickly, going against the smoothness of Texas Toy. As he takes off the helmet, let's give him a big Kentucky welcome. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Rich Hoosier! Rich Hoosier, let's get an interview. I tell you, we thought it was going to be an all-out war, and it was a cakewalk over the Texas toy. What happened?
With the Texas toy? Well, there's so much going on here tonight. It was pretty confusing. We had a lot going on. My battery was getting low, and we was out there trying to get it charged, and it was a busy night.
Give him another round of applause, everybody. Rich Hoosier from St. Louis, Missouri, the driver of Bigfoot, your winner, second night in a row. Congratulations, Rich. I tell you, he's a real pro.
For the first time in the history of monster truck racing, the Renegades TNT National Champion will be crowned.
Well, you know, Richard, for years, the monster trucks have claimed title, number one, I'm number one, I'm number one. Renegade came into this picture, put the money up. TNT Motorsports put a circuit together, and the number one monster truck will leave here this evening. We'll find out who it's going to be, Richard.
Well, right now you see Starvin Marvin Smith, driver of Stomper 2. He is looking at Pablo Huffaker's machine, the just showing off Ford. Pablo broke in qualifying. They are scheduled to face each other, and what they're going to try to do is get that just showing off machine fixed and come back a little bit later on in the competition. That's the way they're going to come out of the chute in round one competition. 18,000 fans anticipating a great battle as we start the competition. It's going to be the injured Brett Engelman out of Lowell, Michigan. Heartbeat of America Chevrolet against Mike Witt, hometown boy, in Stomper 1.
Engelman, during a qualifying shot, Richard, his face violently slammed into the steering wheel when he went over the last set of cars. Meanwhile, he's trying to upset a hometown boy, so to speak, Mike Witt. He's going to try to mess up Witt's homecoming, and he's doing it. Look at that. Stomper's out. Sky's real tall, but the heartbeat nails him, Richard.
Heartbeat of America, Brett Engelman, the winner, but Mike Witt, the loser in more ways than one. It looks like he has suffered mechanical breakdown on that Stomper 1 Chevrolet out of Mount Washington, Kentucky. Witt coming across the first set of jump cars, skied way up, the nose pointing straight to the hallways here at Freedom Hall. Let's find out what the problem was. So while some guys stay in the hotels with chandeliers, Steve Dane stays where they leave the porch light on for him. But he's a good one, and he's taking on Bob Breen and Wild here right now, and they're off and running.
Boy, the kid out of Texas nails him on the start line. Look at that. Some good air. He loves Louisville. He would love to put a win under his belt here. Look at the confidence. He finishes his run, drives right out. Breen follows him. He will not advance with the wild hair, but we will see Awesome Kong later in competition, Richard.
And that has got to be one of the weirdest body styles I've ever seen on Machine Army.
Well, the rules say it must be a full-length body. It doesn't say anything about the width, so maybe they're pushing the rules. Speaking of pushing the rules, this guy has done it since day one. And Bob Chandler's original monster truck, Bigfoot, Rich Hoosier, who's carried a Ford Color Strong all year long, Rich, he goes out to do battle right now.
And he's going to do battle with a real renegade on the circuit. That is Dale Harris out of Pearl, Mississippi. He does a lot of talking, but normally, Army, he backs up the talking with the right amount of walking. Here goes Casper and Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, good lead. Bigfoot looks like he's going to advance, Richard. No problem with this round. Hoosier stays alive.
Rich Hoosier stays alive for that national championship, which is going to be awarded tonight here in Freedom Hall. We're going to go trackside. Army's going to pull Rich out of the Bigfoot machine and talk to him about that run.
Well, Rich, that's one down. We got a couple more to go. We were talking to George right when you were going in the staging lanes. We asked him why you went to the left side. He said you're just trying to figure out which lane is to run in. Were you satisfied with that left lane?
Yeah, it seemed pretty good, Army. The right lane seemed to give me a little bit too much air. I hit them second set of cars. This one wasn't too bad, so when I hit it, it seemed like I might have made it a little bit faster time. So I'm going to see if I can stick with it for a while.
So already tonight, we've seen Gravedigger, Heartbeat of America, Awesome Kong, and Bigfoot advance in this Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge. John Breen, one of the Breen brothers out of Jefferson City, Missouri, in the Mad Dog Chevrolet. He will be facing the Southern Storm of Terry Bowman. Terry out of a great city, Goose Creek, South Carolina. I like that, Army.
Running out of the Ford camp from the South Carolina State. Bowen could lay down a shot for you. However, John Bream is a whole shot artist, and that's exactly what he does. Look at that. Takes a Mad Dog Chevrolet with no problems at all, Richard, and just drives to a win.
John Breen out of Jefferson City, Missouri. The winner in Mad Dog, as that is probably one of the smoothest runs I've seen John make this year on the circuit. Now, I'll tell you a couple of guys that never take it easy. They're coming to the line now. John Moore, one of my favorites. He is out of my home state of Tennessee, and no problem, taking on Gary Porter out of North Carolina, the Carolina Crusher machine.
Well, Porter, he'll be driving for all the Chevrolet people working that right lane. Moore, he comes out of the volunteer state, like you say, kind of an interesting individual. He follows the national tour, Richard, with his lovely wife and daughter, chasing his Renegade national points. But right now, he has his hands full. The Carolina Crusher comes out first. It's going to advance. Chevrolet will advance into one more round of elimination.
Gary Porter, your winner, and the Carolina Crusher machine. John Moore is going to load it up and head back to the Volunteer State. And you know, Army, thus far, as we are more than halfway through this first round of action, I was wondering if you have noticed, has there been a good lane and a bad lane established yet?
Richard, I don't believe there's actually been a good and a bad lane established. I think there's a lane that each driver is more comfortable in, and that's what we're going to see. They're going to go where they feel it's a little bit better for them.
All right, let's see where Rod Litzow, who is vying for the national championship tonight in USA 1. He sits on the right side against Dave Wysorek in Nightlife, and Rod got a great hole shot.
What a shot. Look at the balance of the truck. It almost flew through the air. He advances. He'll be back. Man, so many times this year, Richard, pressure's been on him. He did what he had to do. This is the same case right now.
You know, one thing that is interesting about Rod Litzow in USA 1, the tremendous power he's got in that Chevrolet.
Instant horsepower. He just cracks the throttle and it is there.
Dennis Anderson, a Gravedigger, taking on Marvin Smith, Stomper 2. He got a bye in the first round because Pablo Huffaker, just showing off, broke down and couldn't race him.
Look at this, Richard. Anderson and the Gravedigger bury Stomper right on the starting line. The red lights of the Gravedigger will be back in the building to compete. The Stomper Chevrolet will not.
Dennis Anderson, Gravedigger, the best of the beast in this competition, says adios amigos to Marvin Smith and Stomper 2 as we bring out now the weirdest looking monster truck I've ever seen, but boy, he is a dandy. Steve Dane and Awesome Kong taking on the guy that broke his nose just a little while ago, Brett Engelman out of Michigan, and the heartbeat of America, Chevrolet.
Brett knows he has his work cut out for him. Awesome Kong psychologically knows he's going to win this thing. He believes he's going to win. It's going to be tough not to win. Look at this. Nose over. Awesome Kong will advance.
Brett Engelman almost did it again as his nose went right down into the ground here in Freedom Hall. He gets beaten by the confident kid out of Texas. That is Steve Dane, driver of Awesome Kong, and boy, he got a tremendous hole shot here.
Richard, if you remember, some of the drivers have been talking about those first two jumps being the problem. That's exactly what happened there. He came off the first car jump. He was in trouble.
Well, obviously, Steve Dane has established some strategy to run indoors tonight in Freedom Hall.
When I figured out this track, I think I'm going to go easy over that first hill, easy over the first set of cars, and then just practically gun it before you hit that last set. If you cross up over the line, you practically lost the race. So try to win it on the last side of the track and don't get crazy off the line. I think I can take it home today.
Now, there's the kid that's talking confidence right there, Army. Steve Dane, Killeen, Texas, Awesome Kong. Here he is, the ultimate Bigfoot, the Ford, Rich Hoosier, trying to win the national title tonight, taking on Mad Dog and John Breen.
John Breen is going to make him work for it. Breen's not going to roll over. Look at this. The Chevrolet's down on him. Both trucks in a little bit of trouble. Richard, what a run. I don't know who won that shot, Richard Leake.
I am waiting myself. I cannot tell from top side. We will have to wait for the official word from the Renegades, TNT Motorsports officials. John Breen just put on a heck of a battle against what some call the ultimate monster truck Bigfoot, but I'll tell you something, I still don't know on the replay who won it.
I don't either. It was awfully, awfully close.
Well, here comes the word. It is Rich Hoosier and Bigfoot, and the crowd happy about that. He will move on into the semifinals against maybe his competitor for the national title tonight, Rod Litzow, USA 1. Now he is taking on Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher. Look for an upset.
This national championship is getting awfully close. We can feel it. USA 1 must win to meet Bigfoot. He does. Richard, that sets up a dream semifinal for the national championship between Chevrolet and Ford.
And so much for my prediction on an upset in this last race. You know, a few weeks ago in Nashville, Tennessee, the same situation, USA 1 against Bigfoot. Rod Litzow played some mind games with Rich Hoosier on lane choice. What about tonight?
If you have lane choice, you're talking about time. The quick time gets lane choice. Which lane will you choose?
I'm going to stay in my lane. I'll stay to the right.
Okay, now we were in the same situation a few weeks ago in Nashville, Tennessee, and you were playing mind games with Bigfoot and moved to the opposite lane. Everybody thought you were coming out of that lane. Is there any chance of you doing that tonight, or we're so close to this national championship, you're going to stay where you know it works?
Yeah, that's mainly why I'm staying there now that I'm used to that. This side of the track threw me off a little bit, so I want to stay where I'm used to it and I know what I can do over there. I'm getting more used to it. It's going to be a faster run next time.
We'll let you get back to the crew. Well, ladies and gentlemen, So many times this year it's come down to this, but it's not going to be the final tonight. They're going to meet each other in the semis. The national championship tighter than ever on a Renegade Tour.
In Freedom Hall with Richard Leake and Army Armstrong, where it is now time to shake, rattle, and roll. You let it all hang out, Army. We are in the semi-final round of competition. My favorite of them all, Gravedigger Dennis Anderson, the best of the beast is what he says, against the kid that has killed them all this evening, Awesome Kong and Steve Dane.
This reminds me of two kids, two bullies in a street fight. They are going to go for a win any way they can get it. Dane will be lining up right side. The crowd's on their feet. They're ready to go. Anderson wants to put a win under his belt, but Dane, not cocky, just confident. He says Louisville belongs to him, but in order to get to a win, he's got to pass the Gravedigger. I don't know if he can do it. It's a toss-up.
What would you say the key in this matchup is going to be?
It's going to be the start, Richard. Both drivers know how cautious they must be. Look, they throw caution to the wind. They're going after each other. Awesome Kong and the Gravedigger. Kong takes the win.
But not after a wild ride by both drivers. Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger barely being nosed out by Steve Dane and Awesome Kong. A great show for the 18,000 fans in Freedom Hall. Steve now moves to the finals.
Do you have a preference as to who you're going to be going against, Bigfoot or Litzow with the USA 1?
No, Army, I'd like to beat them both. I wish I could race them both tonight and beat them. I'm third. I couldn't do any better than that this year. Hopefully, if we get some sponsors, I can take it all the way next year. And I think I might have it today. I don't know. We'll see.
Tell you what, you kind of got that Texas attitude and that Texas smile. I believe you believe yourself as a winner tonight.
I go to every show. I said this before. I think it's you, too. You don't come to a race thinking you're going to win. You might as well not even show up, because I go to every race thinking I'm going to take home everything.
Well, you can call him cocky or you can call him confident, but he's a good one. Steve Dane with an exciting win a moment ago. And here's the excitement of the night, though. USA 1, Rod Litzow, Bigfoot, Rich Hoosier going head-to-head semifinal round, but this is for the national title. They've been battling all season on the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge circuit. We spent time with them.
Well, Richard, all year long, we've been talking about two fellas battling for that #1 position. Rod Litzow standing on my right, Rich Hoosier standing on my left. Litzow, the USA 1 Chevrolet, the new kid on the block, came to the circuit in Hampton, Virginia, and at that time, Rod, we did our first TV interview together. You drove your first monster truck race. You won then. You've been on a tremendous roll all year long. Do you still believe the Chevrolet can win the national championship this year?
I'm hoping so. I'm doing my best. The truck's been running good. Everything's going for us. Looks good.
Rich, you're on top of this thing. You've been there for many years. A lot of people feel that you're the best driver in this sport. What's he going to have to do to get past you?
He's going to have to do an awful lot, because tonight, I say it might all depend on this weekend show, so he's going to have to do a lot, because I'm going to go all out.
Well, let the show begin. It's time to crown the 1988 Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge champion, Army.
For the national championship, it's one run. Chevrolet and Ford. Who's it going to be? Litzow nails the Chevrolet. Chevrolet takes a win.
Look out! Rod Litzow on his nose, now on his side, and he is down. Rod Litzow has flipped USA 1. The first person out there is George Smith, crew chief of Bigfoot, helping Rod Litzow. They are trying to pull him. Here he comes out of the monster truck now. He appears to be okay, but he has flipped the Chevrolet, but he has won the national title.
Chevrolet officially the #1 monster truck in the country. What happened when he went over the last jump? The left front wheel hooked on him, tucked into the body, and rolled him.
So Rod Litzow takes it on its side, but wins in Freedom Hall the national title.
I want to jump out and push it back over.
The tire started twirling in, and it just kept wrapping under. I don't know if that tire let loose and come back. I had nothing I could pull on it.
It just hit, and it just started to fold under, and it just like slow motion. I was hoping to jump out and push it back over.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it's convincing. The first man to come over and help Rod Litzow was Rich Hoosier. This was a war. The people in Louisville, Kentucky are standing up. 18,000 people just saw a tremendous event. If it's any consolation to you, that'll bump you up into the National Points League.
Yeah, temporarily. But, I don't know, it was a wicked ride.
We'll let you get back to your crew. We noticed Everett's over there working, but you are okay, right?
Yeah, just a little stunned, but first time I ever rolled. Now I can say I've done it.
Well, Army, do me a favor. Grab Rod and tell him the Renegades TNT officials have just informed us Rod Litzow and Everett Jasmer's USA 1 Chevrolet has done enough to capture the 1988 Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge overall championship. He is the king of kings, and if it's any consolation to Rich Hoosier and Bigfoot, he gets to race in the finals in the break rule against Steve Dane and Awesome Kong. So maybe Rich can win the championship in Louisville, but USA won the overall champion.
USA won your national champion, but bragging rights are on the table now. Kong from Texas, look at this. He's in all kind of trouble. So's Bigfoot. Both drivers having problems in the final, Richard.
Neither drivers had their front wheels touching the cars like the rules specify, but in the finals, the first one across the finish line is the winner. That was Steve Dane and Awesome Kong.
Both of you missed the second set of cars with your front wheels, but Steve Dane, you will be crowned the winner tonight by virtue of crossing the finish line first. Congratulations to you.
Well, I don't like winning like that. Rich, I've been running him all summer. You can't give me any slack, and like I was telling you, I kind of gave her too much off the line. I think Rich, too, you get a little more excited towards the finals. It's more money, racing thousands of dollars. And makes me a happy man to win here tonight, but you got to get the foot. They're always there. They're hard to beat.
Everybody puts out 100% effort, and just got to go to the best man. Tonight I went to Steve. Good job.
Okay, Army, so actually we have three big stories tonight. First and foremost, Rod Litzow flips in the USA 1 machine, but he does enough to capture the national championship. Rich Hoosier and Bigfoot, they have been dethroned as the king of monster truck racing. And finally, Steve Dane, who is third in the national point standings, comes through tonight to win it all in Louisville, Kentucky.
And as you see coming to the line to qualify now is the USA 1 machine. They just finished getting it ready to compete. Now let's watch it closely to see as he qualifies against John Moore's No Problem out of Lafayette, Tennessee. Let's watch closely to see if there's any mechanical problems on this USA 1 Chevrolet.
Litzow leads the line, and look at this. Prime USA 1 run.
I don't know.
But a little bit of problem. The right rear suspension on the truck, Richard, does not look right. It looks like there's something may have broken in the rear of the truck. Remember, they worked all day on the front of the truck.
All right, I saw sparks coming out from the rear end there. We're going to go down. Army has got Everett Jasmer, the owner of USA 1 right now.
We got it running just about 15 minutes ago, and possibly, we're not sure, possibly something got fatigued or broken part way last night when we rolled over and we missed it. And so on the qualifying run, the rear differential came out from underneath it, or partially anyway.
Well, I want to be the first to officially congratulate you personally for the fine job you've done in being the national champion. I know it's a goal you've been after ever since you became involved with the monster truck. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. It's been a long, hard summer. It looks like the truck is starting to fatigue a little bit. We're going to have to get it back in the shop, get everything updated on it. We'll be back for the next season.
Well, Army, let me be the second one then to offer my congratulations to Everett Jasmer's USA 1. There you see Awesome Kong Steve Dane coming out for his first-round matchup. He'll be taking on Bob Breen and Wild here. Then it's Heartbeat, Brett Engelman against Southern Storm and Terry Bowman. Pablo Huffaker just showing off. John Moore, No Problem. Then we've got Bigfoot, Rich Hoosier against Mike Witt, Stomper 1. Mad Dog, John Breen takes on Stomper 2 and Starvin Marvin Smith. Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter facing Casper and Dale Harris. And the Gravedigger, Dennis Anderson against Nightlife and Dave Wysorek. And last night, Army, this kid out of Killeen, Texas, Steve Dane, showed that he is a force to be reckoned with now in the circuit as he blew away the field to win the championship last night.
You know, Richard, a tremendous amount of confidence. This afternoon, he was walking around the pit area singing an old Fats Domino song. I'm ready, I'm willing, I'm going to rock and roll tonight. And that's exactly what he's done. He has pulled the combination together at the end of the year. Loves the Louisville, Kentucky area. This is the second time the tour's been in Louisville. He won here outdoors, won last night. Looky here. No problem. Jumps right out to take another win in the Bluegrass State.
So Bob Breen and Wild Hero out of Jefferson City, Missouri puts on a good show. Not enough, though. Steve Dane and Awesome Kong picks up where he left off last night, Army. Tell you what, Army, I really like that kid. Steve Dane, Awesome Kong out of Texas. Meanwhile, continuing first-round action, Terry Bowman and Southern Storm. Terry out of Goose Creek, South Carolina. I love the name of his hometown. He's going to be taking on the guy that broke his nose qualifying yesterday, Brett Engelman, and the Heartbeat of America machine.
Engelman nails it right on the starting line, jumps out. The old Chevrolet Ford battle will go win column Chevrolet. This one, Richard.
A wild and woolly win for Brett Engelman and the Heartbeat machine. He moves in to further competition here in the Halls of Freedom. Tonight, the home of more champions.
Maybe one of these guys. John Moore out of Lafayette, Tennessee. The no-problem machine against Pablo Huffaker. His name Paul Huffaker out of Conroe, Texas, and just showing off.
Huffaker working that right lane for the Ford camp to perfection. Look at this. No problems whatsoever with no problem. He's going to go on the trailer. Huffaker will advance to the next round, Richard.
So John Moore will head back to the volunteer state of Tennessee. Meanwhile, Pablo Huffaker is going to make his way over to Army in just a moment. He wins it in just showing off. The Ford comes through.
Pablo has an awfully good run working the right side, but you were actually two-wheeling it coming through there. You wide open, but you're on the rear wheels only.
I can't get the hang of this track. I'm having a hard time with it.
What seems to be the problem now?
I don't know. I couldn't make up my mind whether to shift from second to third gear, and I took my hand off the wheel for a minute. And that little second of time, without concentrating, like to cost me the race.
I noticed that the front end was up. You were powering it up with the rear wheels. You basically did a wheelie all the way across the cars is the way you came across the finish line portion of the track.
Well, if that'll work for me, which I hope it will, because it's hard to get traction when you're flying through the air, that may be the ticket to win this thing.
Well, coming up next in competition, Rich Hoosier bids us farewell tonight in Bigfoot, taking on Mike Witt and Stomper. Three things are on Mike's mind. The last time these two met, Mike flipped the truck. He's had bad luck mechanically lately, and Mike recently just got married, Army.
But Richard's a fourth thing on his mind, too. He wants to be the last man to beat Rich Hoosier. He's not going to be that man.
Well, Rich Hoosier wins it in Bigfoot. He advances. Mike Witt and Stomper 1 actually lost this race at the starting line. Looked like a slow start. Let's find out why.
Army, I was on the brake real hard, to bring the clutch up, bring the RPMs up real high on the motor, because I knew I had to get a hole shot on Rich. So as soon as it came off the dirt hill, I just nailed it real hard. The truck jumped, and I guess the clutch let go in it, because it won't pull right now.
Now, Mike Witt with a nice run, but not enough to beat Bigfoot, as we see John Breen and Mad Dog come out to take on a guy you nicknamed months ago, Starvin' Marvin Smith, then Stomper number 2.
Stomper 2 will be working the left lane. Out of the right lane, Mad Dog just teamed up with Research and Development with Donati Camps to find some new horsepower, and they found it. Looky here. Win will be to the Mad Dog on the right lane, Richard.
And a nice run for Marvin Smith, the Stomper 2 Chevrolet. Not enough, though, as Marvin will head back to Jefferson City, Missouri, or actually Arnold, Missouri. A lot of drivers coming out of the state of Missouri, but most of the fans in Louisville, Kentucky tonight. Some 18,000 on hand, Army, for this National Invitational. As coming out next will be Gary Porter, Wadesboro, North Carolina, the Crusher Machine against a wild guy, Dale Harris and Casper.
Casper out of Pearl, Mississippi, working that left lane. The Chevrolet's trying to hold on. Richard, this is close.
It is so close, we cannot call a winner right now. As you see, they're coming across the final set of crunch cars. The finish line is coming up right there at the pole. Who made it across first? It looks like Dale Harris and Casper, the winner by the tread width of a tire. And coming out next, the beady-eyed best of the beast from the east, Chesapeake, Virginia's own Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger against Grand Island, Nebraska's Dave Wysorek and Nightlife 2.
Wysorek, he's a new man on the tour. A good running truck. Got to keep an eye on him. But speaking of keeping an eye, look at the red eye. Gravedigger coming out. Anderson skies it way high to advance in the next round. Boy, the Gravedigger, Richard, they love him wherever he goes.
That 1951 Ford of Dennis Anderson always puts on a show. He wins and moves on in the competition. We're going to move on to a commercial break. Awesome Kong, Steve Dane will be one of those competitors. But let's look back at Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger. And Army, this track is ferocious for these drivers.
The problem they're having is nobody is landing straight. Anderson in this run comes off to the left. The Mad Dog, he bounced off to the right. Nobody can lay down a straight shot this evening, Richard.
Well, as we are back to live action, quarterfinal round, it is going to be Steve Dane, Awesome Kong. And it's funny, Army, a few weeks ago, I was talking to Steve, and I called his vehicle a Ford. His girlfriend, Michelle, came to me and said, don't you dare call that a Ford. It's a Chevrolet. And he's taking on Brett Engelman and the heartbeat of America, Chevrolet.
Chevrolet's a pair. Keep an eye on the kid in the red truck from Texas. He believes, look at this. Side now, there was a good run. Dane laid down a good straight shot. That'll advance him into the next round, Richard.
Steve Dane, Awesome Kong out of Killeen, Texas. His brother Jeff owns and operates this equipment. They are the hottest team on the circuit right now. He gets another win in Freedom Hall. Well, Army, you rename Marvin Smith Starvin' Marvin. I'm going to rename Steve Dane Super Steve Dane from now on. We get ready now for a couple of Fords battling head-to-head. Rich Hoosier, Bigfoot, Pablo Huffaker, and just showing off.
Remember the last event for Hoosier? Huffaker wants to be the last guy to get a piece of the Bigfoot truck. Richard, look at that finish.
We cannot even call it topside. It was so close. Pablo Huffaker, Rich Hoosier, Bigfoot, and just showing off on a replay here. Guys, if you'll stop it for us here at the finish line, it looks like Rich Hoosier is the apparent winner in Bigfoot, but that is unconfirmed by track officials. We move on in competition. One of the Breen brothers, John Breen, Mad Dog, will be taking on Casper and Dale Harris. Casper is known as one of the wildest and wooliest drivers in the entire country.
One of the reasons he is, Richard, he runs a taller tire. He actually runs a 72-inch tall tire. Everybody else runs a 66-inch tall tire. You can look at the truck and tell he's having a little bit of problems. The engine comes out a little bit of what we call death smoke. So the Toyota will be working the left lane, not looking to be in perfect health. Meanwhile, Mad Dog, speaking of, look at the transmission. Completely shelled a transmission when he made the turn, Richard. From our viewpoint, this man will not make the call. Mad Dog looks like he'll get a bye run.
He certainly is. John Breen is going to move on in the competition. He still has to make his run, which he did. So he's the winner as a transmission line leak has knocked out Dale Harris and Casper. And now we get ready once again for that 51 beady-eyed beast. The best of the East is what I say. Gravedigger Dennis Anderson comes out one more time. This time he's taking on Dave Wysorek out of Nebraska. Dave's vehicle is called Nightlife. And talking to Dave in the pits, he told me the way they got the name for the vehicle, they had a bunch of neighbors over one night talking about what they could name their monster truck. And a neighbor said, well, you know, you're up all night long working on this, night in and night out. Why don't you call it Nightlife? And that's where the name came from.
Well, we're glad to have him with us on the tour. He's a newbie. He's going against the old pro, the Gravedigger. Now, remember earlier in the competition, Everett Jasmer of USA 1 said fatigue is starting to take its toll. We just saw Casper have some problems. The abuse these vehicles are taking is going to start to catch up with them before the night's over, I'm afraid.
Well, Dennis's wife, Julie, and son Adam on hand to watch as we watch him race down the track.
Look at a Gravedigger working the right side, stayed on a smooth plane. Red lights will be back for another round, Richard.
Dennis Anderson wins it again out of Chesapeake, Virginia. And if you look at the side of the vehicle, he's got the skull and crossbones. He's got a graveyard scene. He's got tombstones there also. And Army, an interesting thing, Dennis told me he wants to start putting drivers' names on the tombstones that he defeats on this Renegades TNT monster truck circuit. Let's talk to Dennis about that right now.
Earlier in the year, we were kind of teasing you about putting all these tombstones on the truck and putting everybody's name on it. You're getting to add a couple of new names this weekend, aren't you, of people you've beaten?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of new trucks in the sport, and as long as I keep knocking them out, I've got a tombstone for them.
How do you feel about your chances tonight, Dennis? Can you win this thing?
Yeah, I think I stand a real good chance.
Everybody's watching Steve Dane. Now, Steve is swearing by that left lane. You're running like a bear out of the right lane. If you two fellas get into the final, you're both going to be happy with your lane choice. Can you put him away, too?
I don't know. He's going to be tough. He's about the toughest guy here right now, and if I knock him out, that's what I'm here to do.
So we're going to miss Rich Hoosier. I'm going to miss the great sunglasses he always wears. A real fashion statement, Rich Hoosier. Is he going to win his final battle? This one against Awesome Kong and Steve Dane.
Kong comes out. Rich Hoosier is no longer in the sport of monster truck. Steve Dane was the last man to put Rich away in the Bigfoot truck. An era actually ended right there on that run, Richard.
Rich Hoosier bids the fans farewell. He loses to the hottest kid on the circuit, Steve Dane and Awesome Kong. And it's going to be Gravedigger Dennis Anderson. You've heard us talk a lot about him, Army, going up against kind of a surprise that's made it this long and this far in the competition. John Breen, Jefferson City, Missouri, Mad Dog. He's put on a whale of a show tonight.
John Breen with the Mad Dog, he is big in the sport. He doesn't follow the whole points tour. But when he does come out and run with us, he's very, very competitive, and he knows what it's going to take to win. He knows he has his handful. Right off his right, the red lights of the Gravedigger did not move. Richard, the Gravedigger's in trouble. Mad Dog will advance.
Look here, John Breen, we told you he's a tough one. He moves into the final round of competition. Meanwhile, creeping down the track, Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger, obviously mechanical problems for Dennis.
It looks like the rear drive went completely away on you that time.
Yeah, I think I might have got a ring and pinion or either twisted a back axle shaft in it.
Where do you go from here?
Well, I got to go home and get my stuff back together, and I'll be in Richmond.
You know, we were talking a little bit earlier, the dream final to the final race of the year would have been you and Awesome Kong. I guess we're going to have to wait until next year. He loved that left lane. You love that right lane. Had it not been for the mechanical problem, I think you would have been there.
Yep, I think so, too.
We're just going to wait. How about you?
All right, I'll be there ready.
Well, Army, as they say, and then there were two, and there's only two left in the competition. They're both Chevrolets. We've got the winner from last night, Awesome Kong and Steve Dane, and then we've got a surprise in the finals, John Breen and Mad Dog.
Well, the reason people may think Bream is a surprise is because he has not been following the complete circuit with us. He's not up in the points chase, but John Bream has been in this sport for a long time. He can be tough. Bream's going to have a problem because by virtue of Awesome Kong having quick time, Steve Dane told us earlier he loves this left lane. He's going to push the Mad Dog into the right lane. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, man from Texas is going to win this thing.
So he says it's going to be Steve Dane. I'm going to say a Chevrolet will win. But then again, there's only two Chevrolets in the finals.
All Chevrolet final, Texas against Missouri. This one's for bragging rights. Texas takes the win. What a shot. Steve Dane's going to be the man to beat. The 1989 Tour. Back to Richard.
So the story tonight in Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, as we concluded the Renegade TNT Monster Truck Challenge points race for the year was a story of breaks. We had USA 1, the national champion, breaking and qualifying. We had Stomper break down and a head-to-head matchup with Bigfoot. And then we had the Gravedigger break down at the starting line for the semifinal race. And once again, Steve Dane and Awesome Kong makes it 2 in a row to come away with the win.
And USA 1 side by side in the qualification. King Crunch now ends up being second fastest, so he's still as hot as he was in Atlanta last week.
God, you got to remember, these fellas have this course down now to under 5 seconds. If you're going to be a player, you got to go 5 seconds or quicker just to get in the top half of the qualifying field. That's the caliber of trucks you see at the TNT event.
King Crunch, Scott Stevens out of Woodlands, Texas. There's Steve Wilkie in the USA 1 truck. He's from Spring Lake Park, Minnesota. The fans loving it at Freedom Hall, and they're throwing the fists in the air because the Gravedigger's on the track. Qualifying runs side by side with the Mad Dog. You've seen this story before, folks. It is a different city, a new event, but you're going to see Gravedigger break in qualifying.
John Breen pairs up with the Gravedigger. Breen's on a whole lot of horsepower, but Gravedigger breaking on impact. God, it's amazing. I would imagine that truck has broken at least 80% of the events we've had this year, and it's still, in my opinion, the #1 fan appeal monster truck in the sport.
It'll be a broken drive line on that wild run that knocks Gravedigger out of the competition this week on Tough Track. The fans are still there. They love him, but I'll tell you, the challenge for Dennis Anderson in 1990 is to find a way to keep his truck together, because when he does keep it together, he's been as good as anybody. He stayed in the top 5 in points despite the problems. If he can keep the truck together in 1990, he'll play for the national championship.
But don't let that take away from the Mad Dog. John Bream's at quick time. Keep an eye on him. He's found the hot handle in Louisville.
We also talked with John Breen about any specific rivalries that have developed between his trucks and other trucks.
No, not really. I just want to beat them all. They're all the same, you know. They're out to get my money.
That's right. His banker doesn't like it when they're taking his money either, Army.
He just calls it like he sees it, but right now he's seeing quick qualifying time, which means a buy run. And this guy deserves it. He has worked awfully hard all year long. The Mad Dog's been around a long time. We're going to see him one more time in 1989. That'll be in the next round, Scott.
John Breen, your fast qualifier. That is the prize right there. Okay, here's the guy who has got to deliver. Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher. Everything from now out seems to be a must-win for him. He'll go up against Marvin Smith and a guy who'll give you nothing in Stomper.
It doesn't seem to be a must-win. He has to win. Oh, Marvin Smith leads quick. I don't know. We may have a red light start. Porter comes back on the other end. Porter takes the win. Gary Porter has to win everything the rest of the year.
Early edge, the Stomper had it, but Gary Porter was able to get him on the cars. Give the win to Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher. You know, Gary Wiggins is the kind of guy that always goes all out all the time. Very tough racer, and as he works on the equipment, he'll continue to be strong. He could be a big player in 1990.
He could definitely be a player. One thing that I really enjoy about the TNT Monster Trucks, parity. Everybody is close. Nobody has leaped out on anybody else as far as technology. Any of these guys can be a player. Any of the guys can win. Keep an eye on Clydesdale. Clydesdale out of Georgia. He goes into that all-important next round.
of the great facilities in this country. Army, it's always a thrill to be in this building. The building that hosts the National Farm Machinery Show, the absolute top of the line in indoor truck and tractor pulling, is also where we determine the world champion in monster truck racing.
This building also hosts the world's largest custom car show. So the people in Louisville, Kentucky have an opportunity to see all types of motorsports. And right now, Steve Wilkie, USA 1 Chevrolet, going against Bobby Breen, the old Harley motorcycle rider, closest to the camera. The new kid on the block, the mechanic turned driver, USA 1 white Chevrolet. What's going to happen? Look at Wilkie. Scott, good run by Wilkie.
Steve Wilkie in USA 1 will move into the quarterfinals with an impressive victory over Bob Breen's Wild Hares. So Wilkie, you can see every week him getting more confidence after taking over the driving chores from Rod Litzow. Steve Wilkie, that's familiar. I guess Everett Jasper, the owner of USA 1, first thing he must do is teach those drivers how to hold that index finger up and say number 1. Litzow is good at it, and Wilkie just showed it to you there.
He's talking about testing the waters. He's ready to go swimming. I think he's ready to come off the high dive. That guy has arrived. Speaking of arrived, Thunder Chicken comes out and goes against the Buffalo Trimmer. These guys met in the final at Fishersville in one of the points races earlier this year, Scott.
Kid Rarick drives the Thunder Chicken out of Catawissa, Pennsylvania. John Kwasniewski's in the Buffalo Trimmer. He's out of the Buffalo, New York area.
Both of them rely on the Chevrolet engine, supercharged version of the Chevrolet engine for horsepower. Young kid, red truck out of New York. The old veteran in the yellow truck out of Pennsylvania. Everybody in Freedom Hall is watching them. Who's going to the next round?
Buffalo Trimmer's going to the next round. Johnny K. John Kwasniewski gets the victory, but he lost his drive shaft. Army's going to talk to Johnny K. right now.
Johnny K., you're still into this thing, but the front drive shaft went away on you. You going to be able to make that next round?
Oh, I have no problem. I got my crew working on it right now, getting the tools ready, so we have no problem.
You're looking good out here tonight in Louisville.
I think I can take it all tonight. It feels good. The track is working good. I should have no problem.
I'll tell you, Army, he's also got an outstanding sponsor. The Auto Value people really getting behind him. And I look for some good things out of Jesse next year.
Yeah, that's going to be a good marriage. He's going to represent them well. They're good people to be involved with. We're glad to have both of them in our sport. And like he said, top 10. Shows you the caliber of trucks we got running here. It's the NASCAR of monster trucks is what I like to call it. That's the way I feel about this sport.
Well, equalizer, though, is the draw for playing for keeps right here. So while he may be ready for the future, he has got a tough assignment right now.
Get out of the volunteer state. Look at this, playing hard buffle in Freedom Hall.
The victory to David Morris, the equalizer, continuing to march toward what he hopes is a world championship with a little bit of new scenery back there. And a yellow fin on the tailgate. Army's going to talk to him right now.
Mr. Morris, you're doing exactly what you had to do, but ladies and gentlemen, all year long he's been awfully quiet and shy. But on the back of the truck, I see a big yellow fin. What's that all about?
Well, they started a new rule. A lot of guys been joking me about it, fin on the truck. They started a new rule. The truck's got to weigh 9,000 pounds. I told them I was ahead and wait.
Is it functional at all, or is it just there to kind of knock around with the guys?
Well, actually, a place called G-Force Aerodynamics out of Portland, Oregon, they furnished the airfoil for us.
Interesting comments from John Moore, Army.
Yeah, one of the things you're going to have to look for in 90, the two L's. You got to get light, you got to get loose. You got to loosen that suspension up. Equalizer has proven that. You got to get a lot of sponge to put the horsepower to the track. There's going to be a lot of trucks that look like the Equalizer in 90, I predict, Scott.
Nightlife comes out now to take on No Problem. We just heard about John Moore. We'll be talking with Dave Wysorek later about his plans as well. Right now, his plan is to put John Moore on the trailer.
Yeah, he's got one thing on his mind. This is the reason he's in Louisville, Kentucky. For him to stay alive and the Ford to go back in the box, in the truck. What's going to happen? They look for a green light. Boy, Wysorek looks awesome, Scott.
All Dave Wysorek on that run indeed. Give the victory to Nightlife. He knocks off No Problem. Army working his way over to talk with Dave Wysorek. He isn't any more relaxed than any freer. We got some big problems, Army.
I can't believe that's Mike Wine that says he's going to get wilder, freer, more relaxed. He's about the wildest, the freest, and the most relaxed on the tour.
Scott Stevens will try and put him away now. King Crud's in the outlaw, and Stevens has got him.
The high-tech Texan, boy, looking awfully good in Louisville, isn't he, Scott?
Scott Stevens has been strong lately. He had some good runs outdoor and has been really tough indoors. The anti-Ford fans cheering the win for the GMC. Scott Stevens and King Crunch out of Woodlands, Texas. Got the killer radio in hand. He'll get out now and talk to Army Armstrong.
Scott, the track looks awfully spooky out there. Nobody seems to really be attacking the first hill, but after that, just lay all your cards on the table.
Yeah, the track's a little different than Atlanta a few weeks ago. We could drive off that hill just as hard, but getting a bad bounce everybody is, but it's the same track for everybody, so.
When you came onto the circuit, you were late. You said, man, if I could just get in the top 10, I'll be the luckiest guy in the world. Now you're a player, like you say, jumbling up the second half of the 10. 6th, 7th, and 8th possibility you could be there.
Yeah, right. You know, we were in 9th when we came in here tonight, qualifying 2nd. That moved us into 8th. The other trucks that are ahead of us, wherever we finish this year, we'll be happy. But, I just want everybody to know, we're 21 races behind those guys, and we're just, doing good to be in the top 10, and we're glad to be there.
Thanks, Chris. Time to get now to the Carolina Crusher matchup with the Mad Dog. This is the first critical matchup of the night, Army, and I make that point because Crusher needs to win, but Mad Dog was the fast qualifier tonight.
This could be one of the toughest races of the year for the Carolina Crusher. All the pressure is on him. John Breen, no pressure as far as point, but he does have quick qualifying time. He's running out of the lane that he got that quick qualifying time out of. So John Breen sitting there like a Chester cat with a big smile on his face. Meanwhile, late to the starting line will be the Carolina Crusher. Gary Porter not in a hurry to go to the starting line. He drew that dreaded left side of the track, Scott. All the cards go on the table right now for the Carolina Crusher. He has to beat the Mad Dog.
Lane choice obviously going to the Mad Dog. Let's see if Crusher can come back out of the outside lane. They're off and rolling. Let's watch it. Wow, close, but Crusher got him. Big win. Gary had to have it, and just barely, by about a wheel length, he pulls it off. Our next matchup, the USA 1 truck with Steve Wilkie coming out to battle Bennett Clark's Clydesdale. USA 1 from Minnesota, Clydesdale from Georgia.
Back to the interview we just finished. He came out of the lane that everybody else is saying is bad. He says the best run he made all night long. He might know something nobody else does.
We'll keep an eye on those lanes as we get to this next matchup. Let's go over first, though, to Bennett Clark, the Clydesdale, the long wheelbase. He's been an interesting story all year. We talked with him about 1989 and about 1990. Here are the comments from Bennett Clark of Clydesdale.
Well, I've done as well as I thought I could. I thought I'd be a little bit further up in the points right now. A few people have a few more races on me than I do, but I think overall, I think the truck did a lot better than I expected. You can look for a faster Clydesdale next year, a little bit lighter Clydesdale, a lot faster.
Now, Bennett Clark's a tough guy. See how tough he is. He wears a pink driving suit. You got to be tough to get away with that. And he used to ride Brahma Bulls. We asked this tough little guy if he's developed any rivalries out here.
Well, those trucks you get it, you don't like to run, and then those trucks you just kind of get enemies at. Jersey Outlaw, anytime I'm gonna beat his anytime I can. That's just he's a Ford, I'm a Chevrolet. We've had some bad dealings in say Atlanta. Anytime I get a chance to beat Jersey Outlaw, I'm gonna blow him away. That's just all there are to it. And then there's some trucks, that's just hard to beat, Well, Equalizer, he's a hard truck to beat. He's number 1 in the points this year. He's run real good. He's driving real good. And of all the trucks that I've raced, that's the only truck I've never outran.
I guess that means Bennett Clark and his fiancée Jennifer Green aren't exactly planning on having Mike Wine over for Sunday dinner.
Don't let him fool you. There's definitely bad blood right there. Speaking of bad blood, look who he draws in this round. USA 1. Steve Wilkie puts the Clydesdale right back in the chute.
Wilkie keeps getting better every week, and with Rod Litzow hurt, Steve has come on and become quite an outstanding driver himself. Army's going to go over and talk to Wilkie right now.
Well, to say Steve Wilkie is an intense driver might be an understatement. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Army. It feels good. Thank you, Chevrolet, True Value, Everett, Greg Knudsen, and most of all, Rod Litzow for all the coaching he's done.
Is Rod doing okay? We understand he's kind of taking the lead. You're doing a fine job, but a lot of people want to know about him.
Well, Rod's the best in the country. He's doing all right. The therapy and stuff, and he'll be back. You bet.
He may be the best in the country, but you're the guy taking this truck to the next round. Good luck to you.
I'm coming after him.
What he means by that is the word on the rumor mill is that next year there'll be a couple of USA 1 trucks. Wilkie will drive one, Litzow will drive the other. Up next, though, the time for Texas is now. King Crunch coming up. This ought to be a real entertaining matchup. The GMC of Stevens, the Chevrolet of Wysorek.
Both of these drivers have done a super job. You know, we've run down to the final two events of the year, and you look back, you find out they both have been really tough players all year long, Scott.
AC Dave, that familiar head and arm hanging out the window as he gets ready to go racing here in Louisville, Kentucky.
He represents the Chevrolet people.
Here's the GMC, King Crunch, Scott Stevens, Woodlands, Texas, computerized, state-of-the-art, and they've also developed that sprint car mentality. No matter what's happened to him, despite the unbelievable flip he took at Kalamazoo, they put the thing back together and keep coming back for more.
Yeah, you throw the old body away and go racing in the next round. It's next round. Who's going to be there? We're going to find out right now in Freedom Hall.
King Crunch, far from you, closest to you, Dave Wysorek and Nightlight. Crunch, and oh boy, Wysorek got sideways, almost went over, then almost hit Crunch, but Dave keeps her straight, and Scott Stevens gets the win in King Crunch. And they love him in Louisville. The bad guy from Woodlands, Texas, comes out with the victory. We asked Johnny Kay about his competition. Does he believe that he can race with the big guys, the superstars of monster truck racing in 1990, and compete for the world title?
Our competition's tough. We got a lot of good trucks out here. Competition doesn't bother me. I like the competition. That's why I enjoy racing, and I have no problem with any truck. As far as racing them, beating them, I don't fear anyone, any driver in particular. I'll race anybody.
He may not fear him, but there's got to be a great deal of respect for the guy he's looking at right now. David Morris and the equalizer.
Boy, Morris comes out of that left lane like a rocket. Scott, look at this. Equalizer is making it look easy. Johnny Kay learned something on that run, Scott Douglas.
Equalizer, David Morris gets the win over the Buffalo Tremor and John Kwasniewski in front of an outstanding crowd of people at Freedom Hall in Louisville. Now, the equalizer knows that every win draws him that much closer to this world championship, and he left nothing at the starting gate. Got a lot of air and comes down strong.
You know, the truck happens to handle so well for this young man, and this is the only truck he's ever driven. So as far as he's concerned, this is what it's all about. It's a marriage that just worked all year long, Scott.
Thanks, Chris. And I'll tell you, you talk about your money's worth. The folks excited about this Final Four, and this semifinal matchup will be a doozy. USA 1 and Carolina Crusher. They banged and battled and fought all year long, and now USA 1 has a chance to really deflate and damage Carolina Crusher. And I'll tell you, Everett Jasper, the guy who owns this truck, Rod Litzow drove it last year, Steve Wilkie, as a team, they know they can't win the national championship, the world championship this time around, but they're saying, hey, we want to dictate and have a say as to who is going to take it.
Yeah, they can sure put the hurt on that national points chase, believe me. And it's a good opportunity for Steve Wilkie to learn here. The truck you see, it's been beat, it's been run hard, it's been battered, it's been upside down 6 times on the tour this year. Meanwhile, Porter, set number 2 on the points, will be setting right off to his left. Porter, got to be the odds-on favorite. Cool, calm, collective, number 2 on the points. Wilkie can really play the role of the spoiler of 1989 if he can put the Carolina Crusher out right now in this round, Scott.
And Gary's not getting any help either because nobody's been able to knock Equalizer off for him. So the biggest hope Gary has right now is to beat USA 1 and then try to knock Equalizer off head-to-head. But to do that, he's got to put Wilkie away first. And I'll tell you, I've really been impressed with the way Steve Wilkie has come on in recent weeks.
Yeah, Steve Wilkie is a good monster truck driver. Driving USA 1, let's see what's going to happen. He'll be working the right lane. The lane that earlier everybody said was the good lane to be in. Now they're saying, no, the left lane, the Carolina Crusher lane, that's where you need to be if you're going to go quick.
They're side by side, ready to go, tightening it up. Steve Raby asks if both drivers are ready. Here we go. Let's watch them in this critical semifinal run. And they're off. It's Carolina Crusher.
Boy, Gary Porter, awfully smooth, or as smooth as can be, coming over that first ramp. The first ramp is going to make or break you in Freedom Hall this weekend.
And on that run, he was able to make Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher.
Scott, it's kind of interesting. I want you to notice the bounce after that first ramp. It is so important. If you happen to bounce the wrong way, be up at the downtime, you're in trouble. That's exactly what happened to USA 1.
The win, though, goes to Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher as he takes out Steve Wilkie in USA 1. Army running over to catch up with Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher, and here they are right now.
Gary, as the year winds down, you're going out of this thing screaming, aren't you? You're looking super out there.
It does. The truck seems to be running good. It seems to be handling this course pretty good. I come over the dirt hill just a little bit too hard that time, and my front end bounced up on me.
How about Steve Wilkie? He's showing us he can drive a monster truck, isn't he?
He is. He's a pretty good driver. I sort of try to psych him out back in the pits and up there on the line, and try to use a little brain on him.
We'll see you in that final. Good luck to you.
Okay, thank you.
Little brain to go with the brawn, as Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher will face either King Crunch or Equalizer in the Monster Smash final.
Well, I tell you what, Butch, I've always liked the man in first, so if you could hold this, I think
Sure, I'll be more than happy to.
Come on, Go-Go, let's go. I feel like him.
Folks, that's the way it is at every town we go in.
Sorry, Butch, but you know, Go-Go keeps his identity a secret for obvious reasons. I mean, when you can do that well with the women in a monkey suit, why spoil success? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, but you ought to be with him when he filled out his income tax and it puts occupation. Watch what he fills in then.
I'm afraid to see. All right, back to serious business, not monkey business here, because it's King Crunch against Equalizer, and the winner goes to the Monster Smash final against Carolina Crusher.
GMC out of Texas, the high-tech truck. You notice the right hand up in the air. What it is, all the electrical components are located on the roll bar, located above and in front of the driver in Scott Stevens' King Crunch, Texas-based Goodyear treaded vehicle. He's hitting the electric fans, trying to keep the engine cooled off. Right before he makes a run, Scott, he will reach up and kill the fans in order to give himself just about another, I would say, 1 horsepower of 1,500 horsepower. That's how important it is. 1 horsepower for the electric fans. Meanwhile, he definitely has his work cut out for him to get through this next round.
There you get a good look at David Morris in his rookie year, living out a dream season with the superstars of monster truck racing. Here in the major league of the sport, he has exploded into it, and he has been the dominant factor, especially over the last couple of months, and he can smell that World Championship if he can just keep running strong this week and next week here on Tough Tracks. He wants to beat Crunch badly and go out in style. They're off!
Trying to make a Cinderella season. Look at this. Both drivers getting a whole lot of air.
You know, Equalizer got the win, I think, because Crunch got launched a little bit too high.
The bad bounce caught the Texas truck.
Equalizer, David Morris getting the victory, as they love the Equalizer in Louisville. He has really become a truck, growing in popularity. You know, they say winners become popular, and that's what's going on. Look at the smoke out of King Crunch.
Yeah, look, but the bounce is what's so important. King Crunch came out really out of shape. Morris stayed cool, got the good bounce, and he's going to the final.
Army and David are really getting to be chatting buddies. They talk a lot, and they're about to converse again here on Tough Tracks. Army, go get it.
David, you've been here before. It's final time, but the same old problem pops up. The steering goes away on a truck.
I don't know if it just where it landed so hard, jerked the tires around. The belt's still on, no hoses are broke, so I'm going to start it back up and check the fluid.
You and the Carolina Crusher in Louisville. Who's it going to be?
Hopefully the Equalizer over the Carolina Crusher.
We'll see you in that final. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
And speaking of the real thing, Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher, against David Morris and the Equalizer. Tightens up. This is it. Gary Porter desperately needs to win. And it's showtime.
Porter leads good. Can he pull back on the Equalizer? No.
David Morris has put himself on the verge of the World Championship with a victory over the Carolina Crusher. The win to David Morris. He'd have to fall flat on his face next week to lose it.
David Morris, it could be a beautiful ending to a beautiful year here, but even though you're a rookie, you seem to be taking all this in great stride.
Yeah, Gary Cook, the owner of Monster Truck, we come in this last point race here, And he said to go for it, so that's what I'm doing.
We've been talking about Gary all year long. I know he's done a heck of a job, but there's another guy involved in this organization named Ray Thomas. He really helped a lot, doesn't he?
Ray Thomas, he's a super nice guy. He helped us on a lot of steel fabrication in this truck, a lot.
Congratulations, you're looking awfully good.
Thanks, Army.
Well, Army, can't you get him to take that silver Tough Tracks flag again? That's the question.
Well, we've told you many times about how tough the TNT Motorsports cars are that these monster trucks have to go over. But this is ridiculous. I'm sitting in the number 2 car in the A lane in Louisville, Kentucky, after a complete night of eliminations have been run over these vehicles, and this one is still literally drivable. The top has not been crushed in hardly at all. Meanwhile, behind me in the B lane, the number 2 car, completely smashed out. The big difference is something we've been telling you about all year long, that being the ramps that lead to the jump cars. Steep ramps in the A lane allow the vehicles to physically jump all the way over the top, not even touching the number 2 car. Stay tuned, more jumping action coming your way from Louisville, Kentucky.
Army, this is it as we get ready to open up the first round of competition. What I mean by that is this is it in terms of the World Championship. Yogi Berra once said it's not over till it's over. It could be over after this one race, because if Equalizer wins this first round competition, although they'll all battle the rest of the night here in Louisville, this will lock up the World Championship.
Now, Equalizer could go points up for the national championship, but I guarantee you this kid out of Georgia in the Clydesdale truck does not want to be the one that gives him the national championship, and he's going to lay it all on the line. That'll be Bennett Clark. Both of them rely on a supercharged Chevrolet engines for the horsepower. Like you say, a national championship, the end of a Cinderella year, could take place in just a moment. 1 year ago, bought a ticket to see a monster truck. In just a matter of seconds, he could be a world champion.
David Morris straps the goggles on. He'll be pulled to the starting line by track official Tracy Smart. This is what it's all about. Got to be a few butterflies, Army, even though he's run all year.
You know, I noticed this afternoon that exact what you're talking about. He was just a little bit nervous. We teased him about it. He said, oh, no, but believe me, this kid, like we say, the All-American story is about to happen. Look at this. David Morris, your 1989 national champion, world champion, Scott. He won it.
He put it on the line right there and left no doubt in anybody's mind that in 1989, he's the best. David Morris.
Well, David Morris, you're inching ever so close to being that national champion. What's going through your mind right now?
Beating every one of these guys here tonight. I'm going to try to take this weekend with a win.
Going to go out of here to blaze the glory and be a national champion, huh?
That's what I plan on, Army.
Good luck. We'll be watching you.
Thanks.
His opponent in the first round, Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher. Don't know what Gary's spirits are, Army. I believe Gary knows the championship quest is now over officially.
Now, he knows it's over, but he also wants to go out on a winning note. He lays Wysork on the table. Nebraska, for the final time this year, is not going to be back. North Carolina will.
Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher getting the victory in Louisville. A lot of Carolina Crusher fans, Chevrolet fans, behind Gary Porter after another victory.
Well, it's almost ironic. The last event of the year in the second round, you're going to go against the Equalizer. He says he can win it. I don't believe that's the same thing you're feeling right now.
I think I got this course down pretty good, and I think I can take the win in this round.
He can win a national championship, but you can sure make your year a whole lot better if you put him out tonight, right?
I know it. I'm already disappointed by not winning the championship, and I'll be just twice as disappointed if I don't win this next round, so I'll give it everything I have.
All right, we'll be looking forward to that matchup a little later. Mad Dog and John Breen on the left of your screen, Jefferson City, Missouri. There he is. His opponent, Kid Rarick from Catawissa, Pennsylvania, in the Thunder Chicken.
Both trucks have seen the finals this year. Breen has won 2 events. Kid Rarick with the Thunder Chicken, flexing his muscle here in Louisville. He's been to the final twice this year. They're looking forward to the 1990 season, just like we are.
Absolutely, and all the trucks are, and it's going to be a great 1990. But we're wrapping up 89. Marvin Smith's a very likable guy, but you can really feel it by not finishing in the top 10 in points. You can see it in his eyes that he's very frustrated with this year and the way things have gone for Stomper.
Very, very much so. Like I've always said, I don't like to lose. And when my truck won't perform, it's little piddly stuff, makes you mad.
That's it, very simply put, but it's right to the point. And Marvin would love to close 1989 with a bang out. And I'll tell you, he's got one of the top up-and-comers beside him in the Jersey Outlaw, and Mike Wine.
Mike Wine's trying to go out on a winning note. The rookie driver out of New Jersey does exactly what he's been bragging about all year long. Puts the Ford in front of the Chevrolet at the finish line. Marvin Smith is through for 1989, Scott.
become the hottest ticket in motorsports today. The Gravedigger and Dennis Anderson from Chesapeake, Virginia, and the man who draws him in the first round, big Jesse Berge, playing for keeps out of Wyoming, Michigan. Certainly this has been the year that Gravedigger has emerged as the fan favorite in this sport, Army.
Well, it's amazing, Scott. Everywhere you go, people talk about Dennis Anderson and the awesome Gravedigger. Now, Anderson comes into this thing in Louisville, Kentucky. He's had some wins this year, but he's had some problems. He told us earlier, he said, if you see both red lights come on, everything is 100%. I'm going for the win at Louisville, Kentucky. Now, who does he pull up next to? Jesse Berge in the Auto Value Auto Parts Chevrolet. Berge also wants to take a win, so this is going to be a toss-up.
Here they come. Gravedigger on the left of your screen.
Red lights are on.
And it's all Dennis Anderson. The win to Gravedigger as Anderson puts playing for keeps away. And you know they love Dennis and the Gravedigger in Louisville, Kentucky. Let's watch it again. Here he comes on the isolated camera.
Scott, you know, you talked about the people in Louisville loving this gentleman. Louisville is a unique community because they get to see the monster trucks run indoors and outdoors at the beautiful Louisville Motor Speedway.
Army, here comes Dennis over to you now.
Dennis, you may have saved the best for last. Last race of the year, the truck's looking awfully good for you.
Yeah, I hope it does. We've done a lot of work on it last night. I hope we can win. I just got to come over the dirt hill easy and nail it.
Everybody wants to win the last one of the year. Can you do it?
I think so.
Nah, yes or no?
Yes, I can.
You know, Dennis had a lot of work last night. He got a crew from Louisville Motor Speedway to help him work on that truck all night and get it ready for tonight's racing in Louisville. Buffalo Tremor next out, John Kwasniewski to go up against John Moore, and no problem. Here's an interesting matchup. Moore, a veteran, Kwasniewski may be a budding superstar in the sport.
Well, Johnny Kay in a red Chevrolet out of New York has that first win this year. John Moore, the veteran out of Tennessee, the win has just not been in the pictures for him. He would love to go out on a winning note. However, in order to do it, he's got to get past the Johnny Kay kid out of New York, Ford and Chevrolet. Scott, you take the call.
Good Ford town, too, Army. There's a couple of Ford plants in Louisville, and they love watching the Fords run. So the Bronco of John Moore up against Johnny Kay. It's going to be the Buffalo Tremor.
Boy, this kid out of New York is looking awesome this evening. Chevrolet horsepower took the win that time.
Going to look at it one more time on the replay as John Kwasniewski and the Buffalo Tremor continues to make a lot of noise in TNT monster truck racing.
Earlier in the program, one of the drivers alluded to the fact of tuning the engine. What they're doing, they're actually down-tuning the engine. They're making less horsepower. They're trying to get the truck to work through the chassis. Notice this truck has very little weird bounce. It bounces straight, kicks the throttle, and goes to the next round. They're still in horsepower, but they're going quicker in the bluegrass.
There's Steve Wilkie now in USA 1. His opponent will be Bob Breen in the Wild Hair.
You know, Everett just brought out something that one of the reasons they are a successful team. Wilkie, Litzow, everybody works together. Now, Wilkie comes up to be a driver. Oh, no! Scott, you're not going to believe it, but I believe we got a disqualification. USA 1, True Value Chevrolet, I believe, went over the center line.
Boy, he almost took Bob Breen out with him. Let's watch it again. And here on the replay, look at Steve Wilkie completely off the cars. And you can see he did make contact with Bob Breen and the Wild Hair. So as you pointed out, it will be a disqualification against Steve Wilkie and USA 1. And King Crunch is a guy you are going to put at the top of the list. He is definitely a contender for the World Championship next year.
Yeah, Crunch comes out with the Goodyear tire combination, doing a lot of research and development with competition cams out of Memphis, Tennessee, and they are making buku horsepower. You tie that into the computer we've been talking about all year long, the Autometer computer, and you've got a player for 1994, the National Championship, and the name on the side of this player is King Crunch out of Texas.
His opponent is the Dodge, Gary Wiggins from Williamston, North Carolina, and Mopar Magic. What about Mopar for 1990?
The only Chrysler that's running on the national tour with us, we'd love to have more. There's just not that many of them out there, and believe me, they've really got their hands full. Gary thinks he can gear up to get competitive with the Chevrolets, but not going to be able to do it tonight. King Crunch from Texas goes to the next round.
I'll tell you, though, you have to tip your hat to Mopar. Wiggins really hung with him. Still the victory to Scott Stevens and King Crunch. He'll race the Equalizer for pride because Equalizer's already wrapped up the World Championship after Porter had the point lead earlier in the season. We asked Gary if he's disappointed in not winning it all.
I am. I'm disappointed. I was hoping for the National Points Championship this year. I didn't get it. Last year I finished 4th place. This year I finished 2nd. So I feel like I did make an improvement, but it's not as big as improvement as I wanted.
Well, we also asked Gary Porter about the man who beat him for the World Championship of Monster Truck Racing, David Morris, and the equalizer.
Well, really, there's nothing worse I wanted to do than beat him this year. Last year, a rookie come out and kicked everybody's butt. This year, another rookie has done it, and that's what really ticks me off about it.
Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher, and now he goes up against that rookie, David Morris, in the equalizer.
You know, since we've been doing these things with the Carolina Crusher driver, both of these guys have been playing mind games with each other. Neither one wants to go to the starting line first. Now the renegade official brings them forward, but both drivers are still playing mind games. One of them's going out for the rest of the year. Who's it going to be? Neither one's going to give in to the other one. It's a good, old-fashioned street fight. Carolina Crusher going against the equalizer.
Porter wants him, but Morris has been the better truck for the last month of the season. They're at the starting line and about to go in the quarterfinals.
Both of them lead side by side, but look at Morris. Comes over the jump.
Does he look strong tonight or what?
He looks so strong and he's so smooth, Scott.
Adding insult to injury, David Morris on the equalizer after wrapping up the World Championship now puts Gary Porter on the trailer for the year.
Gary, a super job all year long. Nothing to be ashamed of.
Thank you, Army. I was wanting to win the points real bad. Equalizer come in and took it away from me. I'm not giving up. I'll be back next year with a new, stronger truck and faster.
One more time, the final run of 1989 for Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher wasn't enough as David Morris wins it. He's with Army.
Yeah, well, I'm going to come. There's one truck left that I need to put out tonight, and that's supposed to be the most feared monster truck, but the only fear you have is fear itself, and that's the Dennis Anderson Gravedigger, but I'm going to put him out here tonight.
How about this kid with the Carolina Crusher? He gave you all you wanted all year long. Can't take anything away from him.
He has been nipping at my heels all year long.
He's going on a trailer, and you're going into the next round. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
David Morris and that equalizer that Gary Cook prepared, owned, and designed truck flat on a roll and is really taking names. You know, we talked about it in the opening. There you see the fans loving the Gravedigger. Tombstones for all the other monster trucks. And there he is. But we talked about it earlier, going out on a roll. Well, Equalizer seems to be doing that, but here are two trucks that could spoil it all for him, and they're going to go head-to-head. Dennis Anderson's wildly popular Gravedigger against the fast-rushing Jersey Outlaw Ford, the Nick Roscione machine with Mike Wine behind the wheel.
Both drivers pull their gloves off and go after each other. No love lost. Wine, he says Ford's the best truck in America. The Gravedigger says not buying it. It's going to be Chevrolet all the way. Awesome red lights on the Gravedigger say he's 100%. Mike Wine sets in the Ford. Motor goes up on the RPM. Who's going to win it? Everybody's on their feet in Freedom Hall. The final run for one of them. Who's going on the trailer?
Here they go. Gravedigger coming right close to you. Look out, Dennis almost went over. Mike Wine got the win in the Gravedigger. I don't know how he didn't go over on his roof, Army.
Boy, you talk. On the replay, the top of the truck actually touches the cars. Now watch this. That's what kicks him back over. Full throttle right now. Look at the wheel spin. Bang!
That's 90 degrees. That's straight up and down. Oh, my.
That's what you see when you go to a TNT monster truck race right there.
You want to talk about a run that has left people speechless. I mean, they roared, but they're gasping at the same time. An incredible run for Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger. I'll tell you, we have seen wild action all year long. There's Dennis out of the truck. He's going to go over now and talk with Army about one of the craziest and wildest rides of 1989 for Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger. Wow.
Well, Dennis, you're notorious for the wild rides. The last ride at 89. What can you say?
I know it. Hey, I tell you what, I stood her up pretty good there. I knew that I was going to get a lot of air. I already said this lane over here was a home wrecker, and it stood me up pretty good. So I knew I was going to get a lot of hang time, but I wasn't worried about hang time then. I was worried about getting the wheels back on the ground.
That's what actually turns you on. That's what really pumps you, isn't it? When you take the wilder the ride, the better you like it.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I love to show off in front of the crowd. That's what the crowd wants, blood and guts. That's what they're going to get.
Mike Wine, though, in the Jersey Outlaw was going for the win, and he got it.
Thanks, Army. So Mike Wine and the Jersey Outlaw knock off the Gravedigger in a wild quarterfinal race. When we come back, more quarterfinal action with Buffalo Trimmer trying to tame the Wild Hair and King Crunch luck in the feathers from the Thunder Chicken. Stay with us.
Pulled their hearts back out of their throats after that run by the Gravedigger. More quarterfinal action. It's Bob Breen's Wild Hair against the Buffalo Tremor, and another victory for John Kwasniewski and the Buffalo Tremor getting the win over Bob Breen and the Wild Hair.
You know, Johnny K has to be a sensation this year. Scott, you know, when he says we, that's the other part of it. A young man named Kevin Ford. He drives monster trucks too, but he's given over the driving chores to Scott 100%. He works on building the truck and keeping it going, and that's one of the reasons these two guys work so good together, that they're so tough. And believe me, in 1990, they're going to be a player.
The opponent, Thunder Chicken and Kid Rarig, even when they hit the cars, but it's all King Crunch at the finish line.
See, he rolled over the first obstacle, nailed the throttle, bam, going to the next round. Now we're getting down to only 4 trucks, Scott.
Going to look at it again, and what a Final Four we've got. It's going to be a thrilling one. Let's watch King Crunch again in the isolated replay. You can see Scott really pouring it to it. Got just enough air, didn't get too high. Well, Army, Chris doing a little investigative reporting down there on the floor. Let us know that indeed Scott Stevens and King Crunch, that GMC only has rear-wheel drive.
What happened? He kicked the drive shaft out of the front wheel, and he's only going to run in 2-wheel drives now. That would bother anybody else. The same scenario took place in Atlanta, and he almost won the event, so he can still be a player. The big difference for Stevens, he's going to the left lane now.
The equalizer really got him out of the hole. It's all David Morris.
Morris has gone into the final of 89.
David Morris and the equalizer getting it done once again. He has been so strong. You know, some trucks have shown the wear and tear and fatigue of a long season. This guy looks like he's getting better each and every run. David Morris getting the win over Scott Stevens and King Crunch. Stevens certainly has had an outstanding 1989. But the winner here, David Morris and the equalizer, he'll go to the Monster Smash Final one more time.
David Morris, one more run is going to be the perfect ending to a perfect year. That's what the possibilities are right now. We're with you and Ray Thomas and Gary Cook in a national championship.
Yeah, if our truck holds together like I think it will, hopefully we're going to go out of this thing with a big victory.
Big time. You're feeling you're finally starting to loosen up. I think you realize you're going to be the national champion.
Yeah, I may even put that flag on here afterwards.
What he means by putting the flag on there is the silver flag. Each and every week here on Tough Tracks, the winner of the event from the previous week carries the silver flag. Army, the reason we don't see the silver flag this week is that David Morris says it's a jinx. He won't put it on his truck.
Yeah, Morris is superstitious, and believe me, both of these guys going to the line right now, if they had to take a black cat and put it in a passenger seat to get to the silver flag, that's what they would do. Chris told us about the lineup. Going to be a Northeast truck. The big difference is one of them is going to be a Ford driven by Mike Wine, and the other one, an awesome Chevrolet driven by New York's own Johnny K. Who's going to go against the Tennessee Chevy? We're going to find out in just a minute. All the cards go on the table right now in Freedom Hall.
The folks packed out in Freedom Hall looking on as they hit that green light. It's Jersey Outlaw, but no, Buffalo Tremor's going to get the win. John Kwasniewski and Buffalo, he's shedding. Army, I mean, there's stuff flying out from under that truck.
We have got a major, this could be dramatic. What's happened? The Chevrolet won, but the transfer case, everything came out from underneath the truck. No drive shafts are remaining. Look at that. Crew members picking up the safety straps. I have never seen a truck shell that much equipment at one time. The problem now, look at the the transfer case. What are we going to do? The Ford stays alive. The Ford will be in a final, Scott.
Yeah, Jersey Outlaw's got to be coming back as Johnny Kwasniewski made it with only half a truck. Army's going to talk. You see, Army's got him right now.
Well, Johnny K, they keep talking about putting them on kill. That's living proof. That's exactly the way you guys run on the ragged edge.
That's it. I wanted to win this bad, and we just let it all hang out. And that's what happened.
Well, congratulations on a great year. Hey, nothing to be ashamed of. We're awfully proud of you. We're looking forward to running with you in 1990.
The truck's running real good, and we'll be back in 1990 running strong.
They got the points for the win, but we'll get no more. Mike Wine is the guy who's going to get a chance to come back and gain a few more points here as we wrap up the World Championship chase. There's the owner of the Jersey Outlaw, Nick Rossi. He's running back in the building. He's got one more race to go because the Outlaw is still alive since Buffalo Tremor has mechanical problems in Louisville. And I'll tell you, Army, he left nothing inside that truck except maybe the engine.
No, it was a beautiful run. Everything is coming down to the
a game to see. The Monster Smash. It's the Jersey Outlaw, Mike Wine, in Nick Rossi's truck out of New Jersey. But takes it going out on top, Army. He has been dominant the last part of the season, and he closed it with a flourish, and what a crowd favorite he's become.
But everybody knows the kid. Congratulations.
You know, hey, there's his wife Nancy. The newlyweds are really celebrating the honeymoon in monster truck racing, and there you see the battle scars of what's been a tough night.
Hey, he's taking a flag, Scott, for the first time in a long time.
So a lot of trucks are here in Louisville battling to improve their position, 1 or 2 spots. But certainly all eyes are focused on this man right here. Can Andy Brass and Bigfoot 8 overtake Greg Holbrook's equalizer at Freedom Hall in Louisville? Let's check out qualifying highlights. Bigfoot running at the same time as Dave Wysorik's Nightlife Chevrolet. The Nightlife's a good test for Andy Brass, Army Armstrong, because when he gets up beside him in qualifying, he can get a feel on how the other trucks are going to react to this course in Louisville.
Yeah, he knows Wysorik's going to run him hard. Look at Bigfoot. Bigfoot is dialed in Louisville. He is loaded for bear. There's no doubt about it. He literally flew over the finish line.
Andy, that ramp looked like it shot you pretty far up in the air.
Yeah, it did. You know, I was looking at the track earlier tonight, you know, and we was kind of watching the left lane because we figured that's what we was going to end up in. And the left lane's ramp did look a little steeper, and it was. It put us right up in the air.
So what do you think the ramp might, if you have to run there on tonight, do you think that could dampen your chances of winning?
Yeah, it could slow us down a little bit, but I trying to watch the race a little bit. It looked like we might have landed about the finish line.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Andy Brass and Bigfoot were so dominant in the winter months indoors. Now, after having problems outside, we're back indoors. Bigfoot may be just as dominant tonight.
Well, it's interesting. Andy was telling Chris that it might slow him down. Scott, when you're flying through the air, nothing's going to slow you down.
Let's look at another qualifying round with Bennett Clark's Clydesdale side by side with the Auto Value Special King Crunch. That's Scott Stevens. Stevens from Woodlands, Texas. And, of course, the good old boy, Bennett Clark from Powder Springs, Georgia.
Scott Stevens, early in the year, he wanted to finish in the top 5 for all his sponsors. Well, he's done that. He's going to be in the top 5. The question is, how's he going to wind up 1990? This qualifying shot can tell us something. A whole lot of air for both trucks, Scott.
And they came across that finish line virtually in tandem. So these two trucks look like they're going to be very competitive in today's side-by-side competition. Let's watch it again, and you'll get them coming right into your living room.
Okay, now what's happened here? The TNT officials have built these ramps this way. They want the trucks to sky a whole lot. The reason is they can't go as quick when they're flying through the air.
Louisville, Kentucky's Freedom Hall about to get a look at the new Outlaw. Of course, completely redesigned from earlier in the year and from the last time these trucks were at Freedom Hall. He takes on Gary Porter's all spanking new Carolina Crusher.
I was going to say, you're talking about the new Outlaw. Well, this is a brand new Carolina Crusher. And right out of the box, one of the events that we did not televise, this truck won 2 weeks in a row. Scott, this Chevrolet can play hardball with the Fords before it's all over.
He was able to knock off Bigfoot. You're talking about Hagerstown, Maryland, but Bigfoot got to the finals those nights, and it was good runs for Bigfoot, great runs for Carolina Crusher, and he lays down another outstanding shot in qualifying here at Freedom Hall.
The handwriting's on the wall. For the chassis design in the future, they're going to try to fly them as far as they can and land soft.
This next matchup is going to be an interesting Chevy Ford side-by-side run. Now remember, this is qualifying, not elimination, but these two guys always go all out. We're talking about Marvin Smith and the Wild Hair, and on the right of your screen, John Moore's No Problem Ford.
Yeah, these guys are kind of like two old bullies on the block. Neither one's going to give in to the other guy. If nothing else, bragging rights is important, but lane choice can come out of a quick qualifying time. It looks like it'll go to the No Problem Ford, Scott.
Boy, they were close coming across that finish line.
Jesse Berge's playing for keeps with us in Louisville. Jesse will come out now to qualify side by side with Johnny K, John Kwasniewski's Buffalo Tremor. These are two trucks, obviously, still trying to find the combination and hoping that 1991 will be their year.
Well, Johnny K up on a horsepower, no problem at all. Berge comes out with a brand new truck. He rolled a truck earlier in the year, comes back now with the GMC playing for keeps. He sets in the middle. He says it's a good, safe truck. He's not afraid to drive it hard and run at anybody's wall. Johnny K flexing his muscle out of the right lane. Scott, what kind of time did he turn?
It's going to be okay, not outstanding. It comes in, Army, at 5.29. That'll qualify him somewhere around 8th, 9th, 10th. Jesse Berge, 6.26. Quite slow on this track.
Yeah, but I should give him lane choice later in the evening. What they're going to do now is go outside and loosen these trucks up. They're kind of tight. It means they bounce kind of strange. They got to loosen them up now. Who's coming to the line for this qualifying shot?
It's going to be, as you can see, Equalizer and Greg Holbrook, as he will lay down a qualifying shot. He's running by himself. Army will give you the time in a second, but this is a brand new, bigger engine in this truck here with all the marbles on the line. Is this a time to make changes like this?
We're going to find out before the night's over. I've got my own feeling about it. I don't think the same way they do. That could hurt them later on, but we're going to have to wait and find out. The horsepower's there. The driving combination's there. The question is, will luck be on their side? I don't care who they are. Anybody in motorsports will tell you luck is an important part of this game.
The time for the Equalizer, third best of the evening in qualification, 4.95 behind Bigfoot and behind the Crusher. That's the no problem Ford Bronco and John Moore out of Lafayette, Tennessee. He takes on Dave Wysoryk's Nightlife Chevrolet from Grand Island, Nebraska.
Both of these guys are two of the strongest privateers in the sport. They do all their own work. They don't have that big buck sponsor behind them, but if intensity has anything to do with it, they run just as hard as anybody else. Keep an eye on John Moore. Oh, wheelies it up.
And that wheelie cost him. It'll be Nightlife advancing to meet Bigfoot in the quarterfinals. Bigfoot got a bye run and is already there. He'll take on Nightlife because of John Moore's wheel standing escapade.
Wheel stand, look, the first jump. See, Moore throttles up going over the first jump. Wysoryk dials in the horsepower. Down in the horsepower, definitely the way to go, Scott.
The Auto Value King Crunch will be next out of the chute. Crunch of the week and Cruncher now dispatched from Freedom Hall. We're going to move on to see Crunch take on Equalizer in what I think is the key matchup of the first round.
Yeah, I agree that this could be the key matchup of this year. Now, Equalizer cannot afford to shoot himself in the foot. He has got to make a perfect run all night long. Will he do it? Looks good. Yeah. All right, the kid did what he had to do first time out.
At least for the moment, holding on to the point lead in the World Championship chase is the Equalizer. And again, this is really pretty simple. He came in with a 4-point lead. Bigfoot knocked 2 of those points off in qualifying, so he has a 2-point lead. Here in the first round, both Bigfoot and Equalizer gained 5 points. So Equalizer is still on top, but barely hanging on. When we come back, there are some problems for the Equalizer. You'll find out all about them next on Tough Tracks. Mike Wine and the Outlaw, John Kwasniewski and the Buffalo Tremor. These guys love driving monster trucks, but look at this key stat. The Outlaw has dominated the head-to-head series against Buffalo Tremor.
And that was before he teamed up with the Super Winch people for the sponsorship they've been looking for. Put big bucks up for big motors to make big horsepower. But on the other side, the Tremor's not intimidated one bit. Let's lay the cards on the table, Scott.
Another wheel stand out of the left lane. The right lane, as you face the track and face the end, nose dove Outlaw, but he wins it anyway.
Well, that Mike Wine is a monster truck. Watch how smooth he is. See, he goes over. Now he throttles. Meanwhile, Kwasniewski had already jumped the throttle. It didn't work for him. The Ford goes in the next round.
He got up on the back wheels. Outlaw got down on the front wheels, and it appears that was the hot ticket. Let's see how these guys watching, because Jesse Berge and Marvin Smith have been watching these other runs. Let's see if they take that into account on their shots here, because in the left lane, Jesse Berge may want to just roll the hill and then hit it.
Yeah, but what I'm looking at, the suspension, these two trucks running are the older style suspension, and I don't believe the left lane is the place to be with this setup. However, I believe it's the hot ticket if you got the new trick setup. We're going to find out.
Jesse Berge hangs in there, but the Wild Hair gets him. Starvin' Marvin Smith out of Arnold, Missouri in the Wild Hair Chevrolet takes the victory over Wyoming, Michigan's Jesse Berge and the Playing for Keeps ride.
When replay comes up, you'll notice Berge tries his best. The short wheelbase, not the good combination out of the left lane. A whole lot of hang time for Berge, and that did cost him.
And he gets a real wild bounce at the end. And you can see, as Army talked about, the newer suspension trucks landing softer. Coming up next is going to be the Carolina Crusher. Gary Porter's at the starting line. Army, the Clydesdale's still not in here. Is there a problem?
Okay, what's happening? They've got a problem with the truck. They've got a hole in the tire. The Clydesdale, they pumped it up. When I say they, the other team helped him out. Porter said, I'll go in stage, you come in, go to the line, and we're going to go quick. That's exactly what's going to happen. Now, which tire? I don't know, Scott. You might be able to spot from your view. Okay, the left rear tire is where the problem is.
Exactly, boy. You can see it. So what Clydesdale is trying to do, he's going to get to the line fast. Richie Schaefer, the starting official, knows the situation, trying to be fair. Porter is ready, so as soon as he stays, they're going to get the green light.
That tells you the kind of guy Gary Porter is. He knows the Clydesdale having his problems. He says, look, I'll go do what I got to do to get the race going. But let's watch his left lane, the new truck suspension. Yep.
Gary Porter looks outstanding in that lane. A great run for the Carolina Crusher, and now the tire completely flat as Clydesdale heads back to the pit.
Got something. Look at what they're doing. Bigfoot has lane choice, and where does he go? Into the lane he had to run all night long. He's trying to get a handle on both sides of this track, so if he does meet the equalizer in the next round, he'll have a handle on him. Whatever he's holding looks like it could be the winning hand tonight, Scott.
Andy Brass and Bigfoot continues to lay down shot after shot. That was his fastest shot of the night at 4.66 on that run. Let's look at it again, and Andy Brass has flat got this track dialed in.
Okay, now he's coming over the hump. You can see every run, the confidence factor is building because he attacks the initial hump, goes quick first time out of the right lane.
Dave Wysork's Nightlife seems to put down a decent shot, but boy, Andy Brass is just dominant, it looks like, tonight at Louisville, Kentucky. And boy, this is kind of a throwback to some of the indoor events that were run in the early part of the year when this Bigfoot 8 truck looked so good and so strong. And while no certain race is for the World Championship, this is going to be as close as you come. But first, Equalizer's got to get by the Buffalo Tremor and John Kwasniewski. He should win it, but hey, stranger things have happened.
Look what lane he's in. Left lane. That's where I kind of thought he would go. Bigfoot is the guy showing a lot of confidence because he's dancing around out here. And every time he does something, he knows that Holbrook is aware of it. It might be a mind game, but right now, Holbrook's got to get past the New York Chevy. He does.
Look at the bounces. Equalizer with some weird bounces, but Tremor was all over the place.
And the points lead stays identical. The dream race might be coming up. It will be coming up in the next round, Scott.
It's this simple. The winner of the semifinal round will be the points leader. When Bigfoot and Equalizer hook up here a little bit later, it has come down to that. It is that close. Wow. Army Armstrong is standing by with Craig Holbrook.
All right, Craig. If there was ever a time to bring out the heavy artillery, it'll be in the next round. You and Andy Brass, this is going to be the one.
I'm ready for him, Army. We got the truck dialed in. It's ready to go now.
He's going to be happy in the right lane. You're going to be happy in the left lane. Everything's 100%. No excuses.
That's right. We've been see who's the top dog tonight.
Quarter-final round action continues from Freedom Hall at the Kentucky Fair and Exposition Center in Louisville. The Outlaw and Mike Wine has to meet that truck. The Auto Value King Crunch. Scott Stevens out of Woodlands, Texas. Wine and the Outlaw team out of Pennsauken, New Jersey. There they come with their Superweight sponsorship, and no one comes into an arena, or for that matter, leads an arena with more enthusiasm and trying to pump the crowd up more than Mike Wine.
Well, you know, and he's an asset to the sport, to Nick Rossi, to everybody. This guy came from out of nowhere and is really making a name for himself, and I can't think of anybody in the sport that doesn't look at this guy like he's their big brother.
Battling for the TNT World Championship, and you know, it's not just Equalizer and Bigfoot for the #1 spot. They're battling for big bucks all through the top 10, and Mike Wine has a realistic shot at getting into the top 5.
Yeah, right now, everybody left at this point for 1990 is a top 10 truck. You're not a top 10, you're not invited to this one. Chevrolet, Ford, Outlaw against King Crunch. Outlaw, Ford, Mike Wine.
By the narrowest of margins, Wine holds on as Crunch ends it in a puff of smoke, but Mike Wine and the Outlaw will advance to the semifinals against either Carolina Crusher or Wild Hair. Wine continues to run superbly. Looking at the replay, it is clear that Mike Wine won that race with a beautiful start, rolling the hump and then hitting it hard. Mike Wine and the Outlaw getting the victory.
God, you know something? Mike Wine could go bear hunting with the switch right now. He is pumped, isn't he?
He is, and he better be pumped, because if Carolina Crusher dispatches Wild Hair, as the odds would say he will, then Outlaw has to try and knock off a truck that is running superbly and obviously is truly at the state of the art, the Carolina Crusher.
It gets down to what we were saying. The three trucks we talked about in the opening, Carolina Crusher, Bigfoot, and Equalizer, they're still in. Left lane, truck lands soft. That's the trick.
Marvin Smith's Wild Hair was in that race. Make no mistake about it. Marvin had a good run.
Yeah, he was running strong out of the right lane, but I believe the left lane is the place to be.
Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher obviously likes it, Army, and he has earned himself a spot in the Final Four, the semifinals, against Outlaw coming up in just a little bit. Again, a superb run. Boy, you can see that state-of-the-art Carolina Crusher, the exotic shocks, the new suspension design, and it looks like just a mass of bars and metal underneath. They have gone through war all year long, and frankly, ladies and gentlemen, it comes down to this matchup in the semifinals at Louisville Freedom Hall. There's this matchup, then there's another week of racing, but certainly the winner right here in the semifinals is going to take a major step toward the World Championship. Bigfoot and Equalizer. Equalizer comes into this race with a 2-point lead, so the winner of this race will take the season points lead. Chris talked a little earlier with Greg Holbrook.
Greg, this run in the semifinal run is a biggie. It's between you and Bigfoot, and it could decide the world title.
Yeah, this is going to be a real close race, but you're just going to have to pretend like just anybody else out there run your own race. Let him do what he wants to. He might mess up.
That's the word from Equalizer's Greg Holbrook. Also in the pits a few moments ago, Chris took a moment to talk with Andy Brass, the driver of Bigfoot, about what certainly will be the biggest race so far in his monster truck racing career.
Andy Brass, this could be very well the biggest race of your life. It's between you and Equalizer, and it's a quest for that national points title.
Yes, it is. You know, the Acclaim Ford's been running real well for us tonight. We're kind of watching the track, and Greg's been doing real well with his truck tonight, you know. We're watching, you know, I'm trying to run the truck hard, but not run it hard enough where I'm going to break it or anything. You know, we got one more race. It's two races, and both of them's big points. We're figuring maybe we can just lay low a little bit with the truck, save it, make 2 good shows instead of 1 killer show, and collect more points that way. We're just, like I say, we're just kind of playing the odds right now, watching how everything goes, and, you know, we're trying to watch Equalizer and just going to run hard enough to beat him.
Army, what's going on with lane choice now?
I don't know. Bigfoot pushes the Equalizer the other lane. Equalizer not going to make a run. Bigfoot, Andy Brass said he wasn't going to make a run hard. I didn't buy it one bit. That's one of the strongest runs of the night. But what happened to the Equalizer is the question.
2 questions. First off, we're going to find out what's wrong with the Equalizer, but the other question, mind games from Andy Brass. He forced Equalizer into the lane he had not run in tonight.
I don't believe that the truck not running is a result of that, but he made this rookie think for a minute. Andy Brass has been holding the hot hand all night long. He's been playing mind games, and he's a new national points leader.
He is, and that may be the biggest race in his quest for the World Championship. Army is trackside with Andy Brass.
Andy, you can actually feel the electricity in the air. Was there more pressure on you for that run than any run this year?
Yeah, it probably is. Like I said, you know, the points are getting so close that we really need them. And as we was coming into this round, I was just behind him just a little bit. So I figured, well, if I can get him this round, knock him out early, and keep on going, maybe we'll go ahead and get it to show.
Army, you might want to stay down at that part of the track. We're hearing that Equalizer thinks the kill box malfunctioned.
Okay, we're keeping an eye on the crews going over. They're going to look at the kill box. Now, this is a safety feature. We're going to look for lights. A green light means everything's okay. A red light means there is a malfunction. TNT personnel's checking it out. Scott, I don't know.
And Mike Speller is the head tech man. He is down there looking into things right now. I don't know if we can hear any of the conversation. Let's listen.
A lot of discussion going on with the track crew. Can't do anything about it.
Well, right there you heard Mike Speller say he could not do anything about it. And indeed, the win will stand for Bigfoot. Chris is caught up with Gary Cook. Chris?
I ain't never been mad at anybody beating me. That's part of the game. They beat me, fine. We'll come back and race again. But when the so-called safety equipment kills us, this is the second time it's happened to us in a major race. And you might say it cost us a point race. Nothing because of any fault of ours. The last time they said it was our truck, we replaced everything in the truck, come back to race again, and now it's done it again, and they say, no, it's our equipment.
What would you like to see done about this?
I think they ought to rerun it. If he beat us, fine, but I think they ought to rerun it.
Have you approached TNT officials about this?
They just shake their head and say nothing can be done.
Army, the World Championship's on the line. Should this race be rerun?
Well, the World Championship's on the line, but this is a race like any other race. Everybody puts a killer box in the same. It's a story of life, Scott. If you got 2 green lights, one on a kill box, one on a kill switch, then nothing can be redone. TNT, everybody knows it. We got to wait and see. We're trying to get a hold of Mike Speller to get his comment on it, Scott.
TNT says there is not conclusive evidence that it's messed up.
Greg, I don't know if our television cameras picked up your face when you came to the end of that track earlier, but you were hot. You were saying some things to Mike Speller. What went wrong?
That's twice their killer boxes sorted out and killed me on the line this year. They hadn't checked the boxes. I bet they hadn't checked nothing. The same boxes we've been running with all year. You can take and shake them and hear the parts rattling inside.
Do you believe that this could very well have cost you a national championship?
Yeah, because I pulled the box out and it started right up. I was sitting there turning it over with the box in. It wouldn't start. Pulled the box out, hit it, and it started right up.
Have you addressed this with TNT officials before?
This is the second time, and I've talked about it in between races with them.
What would you like to see done? Let's just talk about next year.
They're going to have to come up with some better boxes or keep those checked between every run, whether or not they're right.
Some very bad luck for you, and I'm sorry, Greg.
Okay, thank you.
Greg Holbrook, normally very soft-spoken. I don't think I've ever seen him talk that much. Obviously, it shows how upset he is about the situation in the Army. I'm not sure everybody's really clear on how we can determine if a killer box is working properly.
Okay, the kill system, there are 2 electrical components. A track official standing at the end of the track holds one. That's the killer. The kill box itself that is operated by the killer goes into the truck. That's where the question is. Each one has a light on it. If a light stays green on both pieces, that means everything is go. The connections and everything are okay. However, once you trip the kill box, a light will turn red. The question I'm saying is, and I'm trying to get a TNT official to tell me, did both lights stay green or was there a red light? That'll tell you if there was a malfunction or not.
Again, the TNT official at the end of the track has, in essence, a two-way radio that he would detonate or just key it, if you will, which could kill the engine. Equalizer saying either that happened or it malfunctioned. TNT saying the radio was never tripped. Here we go. Who's going to race Bigfoot in the final?
It's set up Chevrolet versus Ford. The new style trucks will be in a final. The question of the night still, red light or green light, Scott?
We're going to address that more because we'll get Mike Speller in a minute, but let's look at this race again as Carolina Crusher is really running superbly. The new truck puts away the outlaw Ford right here.
Well, he comes out with the new shock absorbers. We were talking about them being new. They're new to our sport. They've been used in off-road for many years. They're called Custer shocks. They found a new home in monster truck racing, and believe me, they're working. Look at the left side of the truck, down a little bit. He'll adjust it for the final.
Mike, how can you tell if a kill box has malfunctioned?
Well, I don't think that, first of all, the kill box did malfunction. It was green when he gave it to me. He said it stopped him. So I took he took the kill box out, give it to me. I looked at it, it was green. I told him to put it back in the truck and start it. It started. Then I killed it with my handheld. It turned red. So as far as I'm concerned, the kill box worked fine.
Is there any way you can tell whether or not at the time he went to that line, if it did indeed kill him?
No.
So do you think, in all fairness, you should let him come back and try it again?
No, because then I think you probably have guys, that could just turn into a huge problem. That'd be an excuse that everybody'd be using. And as long as that's green when they come to me, I got to say that the box works fine.
And Mike Speller is the man with the final word. So it's Carolina Crusher and Bigfoot in the Monster Smash Finals. And it's coming up next. The finalists at Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. The Monster Smash, and Bigfoot's done it again. He's forcing Carolina Crusher into the other lane after Crusher had run off the left side all night.
Scott, what you're going to be looking at is the Chevrolet Ford New Wave final. This is a new technology, and it all winds up in the final shot of the night in Louisville, Kentucky.
Carolina Crusher and Gary Porter, a truck that has just been out for a few weeks, and really our first chance to look at it on TV. He goes after Bigfoot, but he didn't get him. Bigfoot wins it here, and that gives him even more championship points.
We're down to one race to go. Next week on Top Track, can Bigfoot hold on to be the world champion? Man, if he does, he came from nowhere to do it.
but he's going to go in with a solid advantage, and really, it is now Bigfoot's World Championship to win and Bigfoot's World Championship to lose.
And right here is where it starts, qualification round, Army, and we'll see Bigfoot try to get the #1 spot right off the bat.
Well, you know, during the interview you had a moment ago with Andy Brass, he was talking about being out for about 2 months. They were not racing for 2 months. This truck was not sitting on a shelf. They were doing a lot of research and development with it. They can still go quick and go fast. This qualifying shot is very, very important to him. If it gives him quick time, it'll give him lane choice all night long. And Scott, have you seen many times this year, lane choice can pay dividends at the end of the night.
It'll also give him more points toward what he hopes will be a world championship at the end of this program. Bennett Clark and Clydesdale qualifying at the same time, but not in Bigfoot's league, as Andy Brass lays down an outstanding shot at 4.33 seconds, and that certainly is one that's going to be tough to beat.
Now watch how smooth the truck is. He really comes over that first jump a little bit wild, gets it way up in the air, but like you said, last shot out of the box, this guy is pumped up tonight.
At 5.09. Now coming out of the left of your screen, Jesse Berge playing for keeps, the far truck away from you. And the guy who has really generated a lot of momentum the second half of the season, the Outlaw team, sponsored by Super Wench out of New Jersey, with Mike Wine behind the wheel.
Well, Mike Wine and Nick Rossi, like you said, they teamed up with Super Wench, and boy, they were reborn when they did it. They started the attack drive and they got the horsepower they've been looking for all year long. Right there is a perfect example. You know, the times that these guys are turning this evening are about a half-second quicker, Scott, than the last time we were in this building. Super Winch gives them the opportunity to spend the money and go fast. Speaking of go fast, who's coming out next, Scott?
Buffalo Tremor, John Kwasniewski out of Buffalo, New York to qualify against Marvin Smith's Wild Hair out of Missouri, Arnold, Missouri to be specific. That's the old Stomper truck. Marvin Smith trying to lay down a good shot.
Look, you're looking at her. 2 trucks with plenty of horsepower, but not the chassis development they're going to need to be competitive. Buku horsepower, but they can't get it to stick, and if it does stick, it's bouncing all over the place.
Wild Hair going to be about in the middle of the pack, while Buffalo Tremor has to be disappointed with his qualifying time to determine the world champion. And this truck is not playing for the world championship, but is playing for respect and to kind of show everybody what to expect in 1991. It's the all-new Carolina Crusher, and Gary Porter, he'll try and lay down his shot at the same time as the Auto Value King Crunch and Scott Stevens from Woodlands, Texas.
Well, these guys have gone at each other so many times all year long. It's like 2 old boxers are just standing there just slugging at each other, but each one wants to get the last shot in. Who's it going to be? We're going to find out. Final show in Louisville. Nothing else. We're going to take bragging rights out of here. Boy, that new truck looks good, but Scott Stevens ran him tough.
Both trucks will qualify very well, and I would say very high up, although neither one of them able to knock Bigfoot from the #1 spot in time trials. Let's take a look again at the Auto Value King Crunch and the Carolina Crusher in their side-by-side. And, of course, you've got 2 different theories here. The brand-new suspension design of the Carolina Crusher, and, of course, the Auto Value King Crunch was really redesigned a year ago.
Yeah, but everybody's getting away from that leaf spring setup. Those are basically 2 new trucks.
And third fastest for Crunch, with Bigfoot a half-second faster than both of them. That kind of tells the story. Well, you just saw Greg Holbrook in the equalizer. Dave Wysoryk's Nightlife will qualify against him. Holbrook really has nothing to lose. He comes into this competition, the final night of the season, behind in points, so he's just got to go all out all the time. If he wins it, great. If not, he gave it everything he had.
Well, one thing he cannot afford to do is shoot himself in the foot. He has to do his job perfect. If the truck breaks, that's another thing. But Holbrook, the kid, is under some pressure.
Excellent shot, but just to show you how things are going, he lays down a great shot and loses another point because he's going to be the second fastest qualifier behind only Bigfoot. But look at this. They are towing Equalizer out, pulling him out with a loader. Problems for Greg Holbrook's truck on a night that he can ill afford them. Chris Chapman is in the pits to see if she can find out what's wrong with the truck. Could it be the kill radio box?
Gary, what appears to be the problem?
I don't know. It's not the radio.
That answers that question. It's not the kill radio box, but they don't know. They're going to get in there and look.
Well, like I said, this kid knows what he has to do. The problem might just come to the truck. Let's go back inside, but we'll keep an eye on the outside because that could be the big story of the year.
The qualifiers are no problem, and Thunder Chicken, John Moore, has been very good of late, and he lays down a good qualifying shot right there to outleg the Thunder Chicken on this course at Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. From Louisville's Freedom Hall, it'll be Bigfoot against Wild Hair, but in the pits, Chris has found out that Equalizer has more problem than just a kill box. Let's go to Chris, who is in a frantic Equalizer pit.
Greg, this appears to be a little bit more than a kill box problem.
Yeah, the fuel pump wasn't pumping any fuel, but the kill box, this is a new problem. The kill box still killed my truck in between the cars for no reason. I wasn't out of control and it killed my motor.
So getting the fuel pump back together, do you think it's going to help you?
Yeah, it's the only problem we have with tank. We're fixing to have it fixed in just a second.
How long should this take?
We'll be about in the next round. All we got to do is put it back on.
All right, Chris Chapman right in the middle of everything going on in the Equalizer pit. And I'll tell you, Greg Holbrook is still continuing to complain about what he thinks was TNT killing his engine in that qualifying run.
Scott, I just thought of something. Last week in Connecticut, this week in Louisville, everybody, I say everybody, the two top trucks, who are they blaming? TNT. They're not taking any to blame themselves, but Bigfoot's got something to be proud of there. He goes to the next round. He's done what he has to do for the points. Now, what can the Equalizer team do?
You know, when you're talking about the complaining about TNT, I think that's just an extension of, boy, huge pressure on these guys to win this title. And Bigfoot right now is able to react positively to that pressure. He can't afford a mistake, and he gets a crucial win right here against Wild Hair. Every win inches him closer to a world championship. Other guys are trying to get in the top 10 or improve their spot in the top 10. That's where the big bucks will be paid at the TNT banquet at the end of the year.
You know, we keep talking about the battle. There's a lot of skirmishes going on back for the 10th place on up. Smith, boy, he's pumped. Wants to get in the top 10. That'll help you get a sponsor next year. That's why each one of these runs in Louisville, the final event, are so very important to these guys.
There's a guy with a sponsor who just wants to improve in the point standings. The Outlaw, Mike Wine. And he wins easily and impressively over Jesse Berges, playing for keeps.
Remember, I told you earlier how fast you want to go. The question is, how much money do you want to spend? They can spend it, and they're going rocket fast now in Louisville.
The big Ford from Pennsauken, New Jersey. Mike Wine drives for the Nick Rossi race team and puts down a great shot right there to get a victory. Mike Goss is caught up with Mike Wine.
Well, what they're doing, they're trying to run a whole lot of compression in the engine, and it's just not holding it, Scott. These guys are really putting some horsepower out with these blowers sitting on top of the engine. Now we've heard the Ford side of it. Let's see which one of the Chevrolets is going to move into the next round.
Nightlife, Dave Wysorek from Grand Island, Nebraska, Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter, two trucks that have just been unveiled on the circuit in the last little bit.
Boy, Porter making it look easy. Notice the new chassis, how soft they are. They're like a 747 landing. The tires actually suck up into the body. They land soft. That's why they can go so quick.
Army, let's watch the replay, and, you know, you talk about that. Let's also talk about the fact that Crusher got behind in this race and had to come from behind to win it.
Well, he was behind going over the first jump, but when they can really leg the motor, when they can ramp the throttle, they just do nothing but fly.
Scott Stevens in the Auto Value King Crunch will meet up with the Thunder Chicken, and Stevens obviously a fella who knows he's got himself a big paycheck at the end of the year. He'll finish in the top 5. He hopes to hold on to number 4 spot in points. But what Stevens obviously is also doing, like everybody else, is trying to get some momentum, finish up strong, and get ready for a run at the title in 1991.
Well, you know, he wants to take his sponsor, the Cobra Seed people, the racing radios, the Auto Value, auto parts stores all over the country. He wants to take them into 91 on a winning note. That's exactly what... Oh, he nosed over pretty good there, Scott.
Really dug in as those front wheels both dug into that last, I guess it was 2 cars from the end, but he finishes strong and ends up with the victory. Let's watch the replay, though.
Yeah, watch how the truck actually slows down when it lands, kind of like a nosedive, right? There.
Did not detract, however, from his winning performance, and Scott Stevens gets the victory. We're going to continue first-round action with the Clydesdale out of Georgia. Bennett Clark, the good old boy from Powder Springs, and the Yankee coming down to take him on, the Buffalo Tremor and John Kwasniewski.
Well, Johnny K runs a big horsepower engine and a short wheelbase. The Clydesdale long wheelbase. Hey, the short wheelbase takes the win. New York goes to the next round.
The Buffalo Tremors, John Kwasniewski, in a mild surprise victory over Clydesdale, if for no other reason than Clydesdale had significantly out-qualified Tremor.
Yeah, but we can go back to the Scott Stevens interview just a moment ago with Mike Goss, where Stevens said any of these guys are capable of cleaning your clock. Kid out of New York State, the Buffalo area, proved that right there.
Another look now as we get the Buffalo Tremor pulling out a very narrow victory over the Clydesdale Chevrolet. Johnny Kwasniewski moves into the quarterfinal round in the Tremor. The Clydesdale has to hope to come back as one of the faster losers. Boy, there's the popular Gravedigger poster and a Gravedigger t-shirt. The Digger not here this week on Tough Tracks again. In case you missed that story in recent weeks, the Digger truck was completely totaled out in a wreck at Canandaigua, New York. Dennis Anderson in the shop has already built a brand new Gravedigger, is currently undergoing testing to get it ready for 1991. No Problem will take on the Equalizer. Now the Equalizer will be going up against No Problem in a situation where John Moore flat has nothing to lose, and he will try and nail the kid to the wall right here.
Well, the kid's got everything in the world to lose. The Equalizer is not a monster truck team right now. They are a hunter-killer team. They have got blood in their eyes. Let's see what the kid's going to do. Boy, close, Scott. I couldn't tell.
You know, John Moore is a Ford, and he may have put a big hammer, a big nail in the coffin of a Chevrolet for the World Championship right there. Right now, there has not been an official winner determined. Let's see if we can pick it out on the replay. Too close to call.
John Moore always runs well at Louisville. This is where they build the Ford trucks. He likes to show off for the people that manufacture them, but right now, Chevrolet.
We move into the quarterfinal round at Louisville's Freedom Hall, and there you see the work going on in the Equalizer camp. And Gary Cook, right in the center of your screen, the team owner, he's holding the light underneath the truck. Could have some big problems that may spell the final death knell for the Equalizer in the battle for the World Championship. Army, we're hearing he's dropped the valve.
Well, if he did, he's going on a trailer. If that's the case, what's going on back inside those, Scott? That's where the big story is now.
Indeed, and they're going to continue to work on that. We'll continue to find out if that's the case, or if Equalizer will be able to make it back out. Right now, though, Bigfoot needs a win over Outlaw. Critical race, and Andy Brass gets it done again. Boy, he knows he cannot afford a mistake. And, Army, that's a lot of pressure. You've got the best truck. You know you can't mess it up.
Yeah, but one thing I was looking at, the Outlaw was really trying to play the role of the spoiler there. He ran him awfully hard. Had he beaten him on that run, we could have had a different world champion. Look at the start. Andy Brass, I think, almost made a driver error. Came out too hard on the start, but legs it and flies it to the finish line.
The word from Mike Wine, and that Outlaw Ford, certainly one that we know is going to contend for the world title in 1991, as they put together a solid sponsorship package with the Super Wench group out of Connecticut getting behind that New Jersey-based team. This ought to be an entertaining matchup. Army is No Problem meets Carolina Crusher in the quarterfinals.
You know, when we come into the events, the drivers are supposed to put down their name, information on the truck, and the crew chief. The crew chief on the Carolina Crusher tonight is listed as I Am Armageddon. He just could be for some of these guys.
Gary Porter, the man who's ready to try and take it out the door. But John Moore has not been an easy win for anybody as of late. They're even to the card. And No Problem has stunned the Carolina Crusher. Although, again, Army, with his share of upsets lately, I don't know if we can call it a stunning upset when John Moore beats somebody like this.
John Moore has had the capability all year long. He just all of a sudden developed a desire and realizes he can run with these guys. Look at this. He gets up in the air, bails off to the right, stays in the throttle, and goes to the next round.
No Problem wins it. Let's go to Mike Goss.
John, last race of the year, but that's got to make your year.
Yeah, I'm real glad that my old dinosaur is able to keep up with these new high-tech trucks.
Speaking of high-tech, you got Bigfoot next.
We got him over there in Stafford Springs, Connecticut. Maybe we'll get him again.
We're in the quarterfinal round of competition as the Auto Value King Crunch will take on Marvin Smith's Wild Hair. Marvin lost in the first round, but he had a good run against Bigfoot and comes back as the fast loser.
You know, Scott, all these trucks have names, and everybody likes them by the names, but if there's one truck that has the right name, it's got to be Marvin Smith, the Wild Man in Wild Hair. And he's in trouble already.
Look out, Marvin Smith trying to get it shut down. He's into the wall. That is right in the area where reporter Mike Goss is standing down there with his microphone and camera.
Hey, Mike's coming out. He's okay.
Wow. He plows into the wall, and of course, all the fans over that area were scampering, although he never got anywhere close to them. They were sure moving back to see where the Wild Hair ended up. Wow-wee.
A couple people have asked me why I'm working in the tower with you tonight instead of down on the track. That's why, right there.
There you go. Man, Mike Goss some combat duty pay. Watch Marvin Smith head right for him in the Wild Hair. Now there is actually an opening in the wall, and that's where Smith ends up. Wow. That's incredible.
That's where Goss was before Smith went right up in there with him.
Marvin Smith's wild hair. There's the wall, and you can see where he smacked into it here at Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, as the Wild Hair Chevrolet, and you can also see the damage done. Marvin Smith looking it over. Another wild run for the guy out of Arnold, Missouri. Mike Goss is going to try and get a word with him. Mike, what's Marvin got to say?
Well, I just pushed a little bit too hard, I guess. I came over the bank and stood up, and when I got on the cars, I tried to back out. I was just going so fast that I couldn't get stopped till I got to the wall. The remote and everything came on. It just had too much speed going.
Now, you cracked this frame earlier in the year when you hit Clydesdale and Dallas, from what I remember. So it looked like you've got that kind of damage again.
This is an all-new frame. When I hit Clydesdale and Dallas, I tore it all to pieces. This is an all-new truck, actually. I don't think the frame is bent, as I can tell. I think it's just the springs and shackles.
Are you okay?
I'm fine, I think. Do I look all right?
Good.
Thank you very much.
And at the starting line, Equalizer was getting ready to race the Buffalo Tremor, and something died. It can't get it fired back up.
Scott, to where we're getting, he did drop a valve. They're trying to just nurse it through. Points are so important, but he is on the proverbial clock all year long. We've heard about the clock. You've got so much time to get to the line, so much time to run. Well, every 60 seconds takes a minute away from his world championship hopes right now. You can cut the drama in this building. Look at this. Richie Schaefer, they're watching him. They're going to give him every opportunity. We're down to 2 minutes now. Scott, I don't believe he's going to make it. I believe that Bigfoot is going to win the world championship with the Equalizer setting dead in the water.
He's not getting anywhere. They don't seem to be making any progress at all. Gary Cook, there's the owner of the Equalizer. The crowd trying to pick him up, trying to cheer him on.
This has got to be disheartening. And some of the other guys around the truck are other monster truck drivers. Everybody's trying to help this kid. They're not against Bigfoot. They just want to see the world championship won on the racetrack.
Boy, Gary Cook is just feverishly working, but he's down inside the final minute, and the clock is ticking away on any chance of defending the world championship for the Equalizer. He had hoped to get it down to one race head-to-head with Bigfoot. It doesn't look like he's going to make it there.
Scott, in this sport, there's been 3 world champions after tonight. USA won it the first year. This truck won it the second year. He could have been the only truck to be 2 times a world champion. He's not going to do it. A blue truck will be the world champion, but what'll be the name of that blue truck?
And that's almost like a surrender. You see it there from Gary Cook. He throws his hands up in the air, stick a fork in the Equalizer. He is done for this night, and it's going to be Bigfoot winning the world championship. Kind of by default, although take nothing away from Andy Brass. He's going all out. But Andy knows he's got it wrapped up now because Equalizer is done for the night. Army, though, as he's towed off, what more can you say about the job this team has done this year? Going through all the disarray earlier in the year when David Morris quit the team in disgust. Gary Cook took a gamble. He went out, he plucked a kid out who had never driven a monster truck before, and they came within a hair of successfully defending the world title.
You know, this is almost like the day after Christmas. We've been chasing all over America all year long. Millions of people have watched these guys race. It just seems almost unfair that the world championship should be decided by a truck that will not run.
Well, you're so right, but in fairness to Bigfoot, he's won it on the track, and in fairness to the Equalizer, they gave it everything they had. And, you know, Gary Cook doesn't have the money of some of the operations out there, doesn't have some of the high-tech going for him, but he just knows how to get in there and build a truck that goes fast. And I'll tell you, I just got to salute him on another great year.
Yeah, well, let's go back to racing. That's what this sport's all about. Who's on the line right now?
Clydesdale will take the spot of Equalizer as the 3rd fastest qualifier, and he'll race Buffalo Tremor. And look at this. The winner of this race will now go into the semifinals.
All right, let's see how hard the Clydesdale run. He ran the Tremor earlier, a little bit asleep on the line. Not asleep this time. He knocks the tree over on that New York boy and puts him on the trailer now.
And Bennett Clark is the winner in the Clydesdale Chevrolet. Yeah, you know, that's the mark of a true champ right
there. You know, yeah, I agree with you 100%. They didn't win the championship, but they are winners.
Now, no problem's going to try and spoil Bigfoot's party, but he can't do it.
Oh, the Bigfoot Air Force is flying high in Louisville. Andy Brass is pumped and going to the final.
Andy Brass, knowing that he is the world champion, Army, that has to take a lot of pressure off of him, yet Andy also doesn't want it to end now. He wants to be the last truck running on this evening.
Yeah, he wants, when there's only one standing, he wants it to be the big, acclaimed Bigfoot truck.
He's into the Monster Smash final, and now he's out of the truck. Andy Brass acknowledges the cheers as the world champion. Let's go to Mike Goss with your new champ in monster truck racing.
Andy, congratulations. You just won the world title.
Thank you. Hey, it feels great. I just like to say that the Acclaim Ford was running real good tonight. A little bad luck there with grade, but thanks to guys like Ford, Acclaim, all of our other sponsors, BDS, KDC Highlights, guys like that, all the guys back at the shop that worked so hard this last week to put the truck back together because we just rolled it, and mainly to my crewman Donnie that he stood with me all year because, like I said, we was having troubles mid-year and helping me put the truck back together. It was kind of tough, but we pulled through it, and it looks like we did it this year.
It is again time to settle matters at Louisville's Freedom Hall. We know who the world champion is. The only thing we don't know is who is the champion on this night in Louisville, Kentucky. It'll be either Bigfoot and Andy Brass, already crowned as the season champ, or the Auto Value King Crunch, his arch rival and main nemesis in 1990.
Well, we knew it was going to be a blue truck in a winner's circle. Brass is trying to make 100% kill night. Whoa, he does.
Hold on, Scott Stevens. He almost got in big trouble on a wild finish, but Stevens shuts it down before smacking the wall, and Bigfoot goes out in style, winning on the final race of the year. And there you can see he really opened up the points on this final night. But that's a deceiving cushion. It was much closer than that all year long. Carolina Crusher a solid third. King Crunch and King Kong round out the top 5 in the season standings. 88 champion USA 1 finishes 6th. Outlaw, very impressive, 7th place run. Then 8th, the Nightlife. Gravedigger holds on for the number 9 spot. And Buffalo Tremor, Johnny K, rounds out the top 10. Clydesdale will finish 11th. Marvin Smith's Wild Hair holds off no problem for 12th. Then Thunder Chicken and Mad Dog round out the top 15 for the 1990 season in TNT Monster Truck Racing.